Yeah, so we got the news on Broby yesterday. For us, it's good news when you look at what happened and how the play happened. So right now, he'll be out somewhere around 4 to 6 weeks with a lower body injury.
Let's get nasty on a Monday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Appreciate everybody joining us here in St. Louis or wherever you may be.
Never know.
Appreciate you. I got real concern for a lot of people on Saturday. Obviously, Philip Broberg and that injury, because that injury looked nasty live. Leg shouldn't bend that way. That's one. I got concerned, obviously, for the Blues. But the person I became most concerned about was Jamie Rivers, because Philip Broberg has become your guy, Jamie, and the guy that you have talked about, and rightfully so, a lot on these airwaves, and how much you appreciate his game, how much of a fleecing it was from Doug Armstrong, and all those things remain true. But I didn't even want to reach out to you because I knew you needed some time to process Philip Broberg being out now for a while. Now we know 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, the flag was at half-mast on Sunday.
Sure.
Felt bad just for a couple hours because there was no death, just an injury. My heart died for a little bit.
Yeah. Nothing new.
Nothing new. It's happened before. It's great to make a home kit now. You just zap yourself. It's great. Yeah. It's fun sometimes. Kids like it.
Let me do it next.
Let me shock you next, Dad. All right.
Yeah.
No, but tough one for the Blues. Great game, first of all, for the Blues. We're going to get into that. And so many things that I loved about the game on Saturday. Just so many things. There's a couple of funny stories, too, that go with it. That we were lucky enough today, the Blues alumni were invited by the team to go have lunch with the current Blues and kind of reconnect that relationship, because, a guy who did that so well was Bobby Plager.
Yeah.
Bobby Plager always connected the past to the present. He was around the players all the time. Bobby's passed, and there's been a little bit of a disconnect, COVID stuff and all that. So
Sure.
It was nice to get back together. So some funny stories to tell from that we'll get into later. But yeah, Philip Broberg, I'm watching that play live, and I'm just going to describe it the way I felt it and saw it. He makes a great play to enter the zone, keep the puck, and Marner basically bounces off of him like a fly hitting a windshield, but then falls and lands on Broberg's leg. And as soon as he went down, kind of awkward, and then he grabbed at his leg right away. Forgot about the puck. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
My heart was like, oh. Like, that's your number one defenseman right now. Like, Colton Parayko's playing very well. And, in fact, boy, did he pick it up after that.
Man,
like,
I would say.
Unreal, which is great. It's what you need. But Philip Broberg has been carrying the mail here for the Blues all season long, and he goes down, and it looked bad.
Yeah.
My first thought is, oh, no. That's a long injury. Now, it turns out 4 to 6 weeks, that's still a long injury, but not 4 to 6 months like I thought it could be. And then you never know. If it's worse than you think, then how's the player following the injury? Right. Is the player ever the same again? Because knees in any sport, like if you don't get full recovery, you may look like a different player following that.
Right.
So it really was difficult to see that happen. You could see the bench was kind of, woof. But guys picked it up. Colton Parayko stepped up like a rock star. He did. He's laughing with him before the game, said, hey, shoot the biscuit, big boy, because he was on the second power play. And I just had the interview on the bench with him for Brian. I was like, finish the interview. Hey, don't forget, shoot the biscuit tonight, big boy. And he kind of laughed. Then he shoots the biscuit and scores 2 goals. I mean, I don't want to say I'm fully responsible for the win on Saturday. However,
played your part.
I won't deny it. Okay,
yeah, right.
If you want to compliment me, I'll receive it.
If you want to give you the credit, you're good.
Sounds like Jamie should maybe just step over the boards and head to the other side of the bench. With all of that, just great advice.
Yeah, I mean, solid advice.
As a player, you want him to strap him up.
He can probably do that too.
On the other side, sit down and then
I think
over
he's
the
saying
boards
replace. I think Marsh is saying replace.
Whoa, I'm not saying
one of the members of the coaching. Coaching staff.
Guys, I gave him one little tidbit of advice. There was no video even incorporated in it. I might as well have been a fan yelling shoot at that point.
But we know that matters.
It does matter.
You got enough juice left for 2 periods.
Depends who we're playing. Depends who my matchup is.
Realistically, how many shifts?
If it's Connor McDavid, both hamstrings are gone the first period. There's no doubt.
Hey, how many minutes are you and Rudy logging?
Yeah, me and Rudy. If I had to play a game right now, I could probably get through one game. Adrenaline alone would carry me through the game.
It's the recovery.
Play the 12 to 14 minutes. After the game, though, I'll be in traction for a month. Just laying there with no ability to move. Who knows what's left? Maybe you have to break out the defibrillator again. Kids, have another go at it. But Colton Parayko steps up in a huge way and delivers on both fronts, solid defensively and adds in the offense. But this Blues team now, they're going to be tested, man. You got Robert Thomas, your number one center, out for an extended period of time. You got Matthew Joseph out for, undetermined time. He's a big part of your team. He was, certainly. And now, arguably, your 1A, 1B defenseman, doesn't matter where you categorize it. Broberg out for 4 to 6 weeks. Your depth is being tested immediately right now.
I feel for Drew Bannister because now it's kind of up to him. Because fans will. We just saw this with the Robert Thomas injury. Robert Thomas goes down with an injury. They beat Toronto that next game, and then they lose 3 straight. And immediately, you started to hear the chatter of, well, Robert Thomas is only one player. They've got to do more than this. We as fans, we only care about wins and losses. Mm-hmm. So for Bannister, or even Army for that matter, and everybody in the front office to try to properly evaluate the team, you're missing 2 key components now. So everything becomes reshuffled. And I think for Drew Bannister, he's probably going to have to reshuffle things constantly. So now you're just in a mode now of tinkering with the puzzle, knowing it will never be complete until these 2 guys come back. Yep. So I feel for him there. But it's also his job to maximize the players that are in the lineup, the players that are in the lineup. It's their responsibility and their jobs to have that next man up mentality. That's just professional sports. But if we're going to properly evaluate this thing, it became very difficult on Saturday night.
Well, and let's not forget too that Nick Leddy's out too. Somehow I glossed over that, and he's part of your top pair ordinarily. So you're missing 2 of your top defensemen right now. Mm-hmm. Listen, this is where coaches really have to coach. And I'm not saying they don't coach when the roster's full. They do, but it's a different type of coaching. You're managing your roster at that point, and you're making sure that the systems are executed, that you're on your game, you're reminding players of what their jobs are, this, that, whatever, the matchups. When you lose your number one center and 2 of your top 4 defensemen, now you're coaching.
Yeah.
Now you're coaching. You're mix matching the lines, the defense pairs. You're making sure that defense pair number 3 doesn't end up on the ice against 2 of the best players in the world, or you're splitting those 2 guys up in the bottom end, and one guy's playing with Parayko, the other guy's playing with Falk. That's when the real coaching / juggling starts to happen, is when you have not just significant injuries, but significant injuries to your best players.
Is there also a concern with a guy like Colton Parayko of not getting him on the ice too much now, because you're down 2 of your top defensemen? He's the one that you're going to have out there in those critical moments. You don't want him to be too worn down, taking so many shifts and having 25, 28 minutes on ice every single night. Is that a concern as well that they think about?
Not me. I'm strapping my wagon to that Clydesdale, and I'm whipping him. Go. Pull the damn plow, son. He played, 28 minutes the other night?
Just play.
Just play.
30. If you can get to 35, we'll do it.
I played with 2 guys, lots of guys, but 2 guys here in St. Louis who used to play around 30 minutes a game. Chris Pronger and Al McInnes. One of them was on the ice at any point in the game. They both played half the game, and one of them was always on the ice. So it's wild to think that. And then in Detroit, obviously, play with Nick Lidstrom. You play 30 minutes as well. So it can be done, Carey. Now, is it something you want to just do continuously? No, if you can manage the minutes, if you have a favorable matchup to where you can manage the minutes and take a minute or 2 off of the total, then great. And it's up to the other guys now, too, like Scott Perunovich back in the lineup. P.O. Joseph's going to be elevated in his role. Matthew Kessel. How those guys go will determine how much you have to play Falk and Parayko and guys like that. And Suter. Suter, mind you, 40 years old. He's playing 24, 25 minutes a game. He doesn't look like he's slowing down, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But he's going to be counted on a lot, too.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be something.
Starting tomorrow night when they take on the Lightning. So things don't get any easier. Not that the Blues want to face teams like, I don't know, Montreal, San Jose.
Yeah, well, we handled them this year.
We spotted them a pretty good lead, but
Massive comeback.
got back into that one. Somebody in the snake pit said, can we get the Maple Leafs to move to the Central Division?
Oh, yeah.
Be nice.
They used to be in the Blues division.
Back in the old Chuck Norris division.
Bring them all back. Andrew Marsh sporting a new look.
Yeah, I had to change some things up. You know, the Blues lost 3 straight in a row. The Vikings had lost 2 in a row. I had to change it up.
When did you get
there?
Saturday.
Morning?
Saturday afternoon, right before the Blues game. Before Miami won. And my parlay hit. I'm up 4 now. Let's go.
Oh, he hit his parlay.
He hit a 4-leg parlay.
All Miami Hurricane.
Which is smart because you correlated it. If this happens, then this should happen, then this should happen. And
how nervous were you halfway through the game when Duke was leading?
When Duke was leading.
oh my God.
Was Duke up at halftime or was it tied?
No, I think
Duke was up by
Miami went up early, and then Duke stormed back.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, crap. Like, I think because of the way that Miami's played, I knew the game wasn't going to end that way.
Right.
Because Miami has a weird way of making things interesting. The one thing that was concerning was the passing yards. And, actually, I'm sorry. That wasn't a concern. A little bit towards the end it was, but the spread, I had the alternate spread of -18. It ended up covering like just the normal of, I believe it was 21. They won by, I think, 22.
Yeah.
So, no, it was just a great weekend.
When I saw that Duke tied it in the third quarter, I'm like, there's no way. And then Miami just rolls.
They find ways to win.
I thought my underdog was getting hit. Remember I said Duke? I said, I was like, guys, I know this is crazy, but I feel like Duke against Miami.
Yeah, that's right. You threw that out there.
We also threw out South Carolina, too.
You and I hit that. Yeah. Texas, they got out to a big lead. A&M came back, and then it was all South Carolina in the second half.
They just rode them. They rolled through them. South Carolina just kept running at them, and
the dam
Texas
broke.
A&M, it did. You could see it. It just snapped.
Enough.
They had enough. Yeah.
All right.
Well said.
There's another big upset, too, but we won't talk about it.
That happened.
Oh, yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
ILL.
I don't even think it was an upset.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Minnesota was favored.
Anthony, you hush your mouth.
I think they were.
I don't think. It doesn't matter. You know, sometimes games don't go as you plan. You learn, you bounce back, you get at them, you get a bye week, get a rest, get your respite, and be back next week.
What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Where's the 2 ships passing in the night?
They passed.
No, they went simultaneously. Both of them left.
They met and then sunk together.
They ran into each other and sunk to the bottom.
That's about right. Yeah.
All right, it's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We got our NFL Week 9 instant reactions in 15 minutes, but certain Cardinal got absolutely snubbed over the weekend. Tell you why Masyn Winn should have been a Gold Glove winner at shortstop in the National League. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Up the middle, and Masyn Winn dives, throws to first. What a play! Maybe his best of the year.
That highlight courtesy of then Valley Sports Midwest, now FanDuel Sports Network.
What do you think?
We think.
We're not sure about the Cardinals yet.
We don't know. TBD.
Yeah.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We do know us. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. Masyn Winn did not win Rookie of the Gold Glove. He did not win the Gold Glove award for shortstop in the National League. That went to Ezekiel Tovar of the Colorado Rockies. Now, Winn had certain numbers that were better than Tovar. Tovar had certain numbers better than Masyn Winn. He had fewer errors, first and foremost. Winn had more errors than any shortstop in the league this year. We know that errors, that's not the end-all, be-all. Because you get to more balls. If you got a hard score that night, he may rule an error when otherwise nobody, a shortstop didn't even come close to it, and the ball's in the left field.
It benefits you more to not try,
right?
Is what I've been told. Talking to BT's like you're better off not to even try, and you don't get the error.
Right. So Winn's fielding. Right. It's. I mean.
Isn't that weird?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you make an effort, you botch it, they're like, that's
Right.
an error.
Yeah.
You worked way too hard.
As opposed to, well, it's a clean base hit. He wasn't anywhere near that thing. Yeah, he's got no speed. He's got no defensive ability. Winn's fielding percentage, .971, ranked 11th among big league shortstops, 6th in the National League. He committed the six most errors, 18 of any shortstop in the majors, 8 fielding errors, 10 throwing errors. He led the majors in defensive runs saved. He was tied for 16th among shortstops in the defensive metric, outs above average with 3. Winn also ranked 14th in the defensive metric, ultimate zone rating. Tovar led in ultimate zone rating. I mean, a lot of this is eye test coupled with the numbers. We know that Masyn Winn had a hell of a season. I can't sit here and say that I watched a lot of Ezekiel Tovar in Colorado. I know. Call me crazy. But if Winn had won the Gold Glove, I don't think anybody would have, I mean, not only in St. Louis, but elsewhere, would have any issue with it. The kid was sensational this year.
The only thing that stands out for me, and I was listening to some of the national people talk about the Gold Glove, and I don't know if it's primitive, the way they're thinking, or if that's just as basic, is they're like errors. Like you can't have 18 errors and win a Gold Glove.
Sure.
Like pretty much on MLB Network, I forget who the hell it was, but I was like loosely listening. And
Probably Greg Amsinger.
No, I would know that voice anywhere.
I blame for Masyn Winn's errors.
Oh, the fans.
The Cardinals fan base.
Oh, my goodness.
They didn't show up.
But they basically said anybody that has 18 errors, no matter how the other analytics stack up, said odds are you're not winning the Gold Glove.
Makes sense.
Now, again, I don't know if that's the right way to do it. I have no idea because some of the other numbers are incredible compared to the guys he was competing against.
Yeah.
But apparently the errors are the big one, so...
Errors should be factored into Gold Glove performance.
Yeah.
I think,
But again, Carey, it's like we just talked about. How many did he dive to?
Right.
Barely get it or knock it down and not be able to make the play, and they're like, oh, that's an error.
Yeah, I mean, there are some balls that he gets to that other people are unable to, and that comes with the territory. And so it's kind of the good and the bad of his ability. And hopefully, as we go further along in his career, those balls that he's getting to, he'll know, you know what, I do have a strong arm, but I need to eat this one. I don't need to try to make this play. Because when you're younger, you know this, I know this, you feel like you can make every single play.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a play mentally, but physically your body's like, no. So you learn as you get older that there are some things that you don't need to do and don't have to do. I think hopefully he has multiple Gold Gloves in his future, and he continues to show his ability both in the field and at the plate. I think he did a fantastic job as a rookie this year, and hopefully, it just gets better and better as we go forward.
So Masyn Winn is poised to be the next superstar here in St. Louis. I don't think there's any debate about that. But will it matter if those around him, if they don't also flourish? We're talking about Nolan Gorman. We're talking about Jordan Walker. The guys around him, if they don't have, whether they're on the same level or that complementary status, will it even matter if the Cardinals have a superstar if nobody else comes to play?
Do you really believe that, though? Like, I believe that matters, but do you really believe that's going to happen? Like, because
that nobody else will.
Because look at the end of the season.
Show up.
Look at the end of the season. We talked about it extensively, saying, like, this roster that we're looking at right now is probably pretty much the roster you're going to see next year, minus Goldie, minus Arenado. Contreras wasn't playing. He was hurt still. So the rest of it is probably your roster.
Yeah.
So, I think Masyn Winn's going to be a star on a team that is in a rebuild or youth movement, whatever word they want to use to describe this era of Cardinals baseball.
I think it matters. I think it matters because it could tilt. It could get this thing going in the right direction.
Yeah, Tovar played on freaking Colorado and won the Gold Glove.
Yeah, I don't consider Tovar to be a superstar. I'm saying, like, if Masyn Winn becomes a superstar, but it's like that's it. Obviously, that's it ain't gonna matter from the team's perspective. I think he needs to be the face of the Cardinals youth movement. I don't care that if it's not Walker. I mean, we talk more about Jordan Walker.
I don't think it is. In fact, I'd rather it not be Jordan Walker just to let the kid get settled.
Sure.
Take him off the billboards. Let him carve his own path. Masyn Winn right now has proven that not only can he play in the league, but he's totally comfortable about being the face of the franchise. He's got enough swagger to him that it's just fine. So I'm with you 100% on that.
Can it not be both of them? Can we? I mean,
Mr. Walker's here.
Yeah,
Mr.
we
Walker's
got John Jay to help teach him how to field balls properly. He's got an entire offseason to correct his fielding, to correct his swing, and
he's just going to be over at first base. He's fine.
Oh, that's fine. Well, whatever you want to put him at. As long as he's hitting the ball.
I'm not sure with
that. Are we not sure that Paul Goldschmidt will be back?
They declined his qualifying offer.
Are they not gonna? That doesn't mean he won't be back.
He'll be a Yankee.
He'll be an Astro.
He might be.
I think he's going to be an Astro.
I don't know.
He'd be a good Yankee because they got to move on from Rizzo.
Well, they are.
The statue there, otherwise known as.
Wow.
That was
aggressive.
Yeah.
A little bit.
He's mad at the Yankees. He's still mad.
Yeah, I'm
Anthony,
very mad.
the statues are outside of.
Yeah.
They're
Every now and
typically
then you got one on the
outside
field.
of the stadium.
I saw two in Game 5.
Both of those guys are gone now.
Yeah, because Garrett Cole's like, I'm out.
Someone explained this to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Garrett Cole has declined his player option. But now the Yankees can still keep him if they overpay him, basically.
Yeah,
They
that's
pay
what
him
you're
more.
hoping.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's walking away from like a lot of money.
It was like,
He must
how much was
assume,
it?
and his
$100
agent,
million or something he's walking away?
his agent must assume that they're going to get more on the open market. He probably knows he'll be a Dodger
There you go.
in 2 months.
Anthony, doesn't matter what team
Don't you
he's
wink
on.
at me, Carey Davis.
He's got to run to first base. Hey, what about this? We talk about the superstars in waiting. If it is just Masyn Winn as a positional player, can you get away with your stars being pitchers? Because there are a lot of pitchers that we believe that can be stars.
Yeah.
It might not look like your conventional, star-studded lineup, but if you have like 3 studs at pitcher, it looks a little different, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think what we mean by star, because I think of star, and I also think of play plus personality. It's like that marketability. I think the way you're using it, correct me if I'm wrong, is more of a, if your 3 best players are pitchers, how does that change things? Or 3 of maybe your top 5 are pitchers.
That's kind of along the lines of what I'm saying. Yeah.
To me, you have a better shot of winning a World Series if 3 of your top 5 players are pitchers.
Great. All right.
And stud pitchers.
Whoa, you heard it here.
Stud
Cardinals
pitchers.
win a World
Anthony,
Series.
Anthony
There we go.
just
I
said
did
it.
not. I
Where are those
didn't
glasses
say the
at?
Cardinals.
Where are those glasses? Not the
Right
blue
here.
ones.
I'm using them
haven't
for
seen
Not
red
the
glasses.
blue ones.
I'm
You might
waiting
as well
for
put 'em
tonight.
on.
No, I'm waiting for tonight.
What are you talking about? Your team just won.
They played
I
yesterday.
mean, I actually meant the playoffs.
What?
Yeah, the red glasses for the playoffs
For the Falcons?
This guy.
for 1 week. Yeah, absolutely.
You talking about for the Chiefs for tonight? Oh, God.
But then I forgot that it's really just the playoffs that I'm waiting for.
No, you jumped on the bandwagon.
I did not.
You're on now.
It's just a bit of a foregone. Actually,
It's not even the playoffs. It's the Super Bowl.
I thought about. Yeah, really, it's just the Super Bowl. That's correct.
the 2 weeks.
It's the bye week that Anthony jumps on.
Correct.
Yeah, the 2 weeks
100%.
leading up to the Super Bowl.
But you know what, guys? I actually did a lot of thinking on this, and
There's a first.
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I can't even fight you on that one. I actually think I'm gonna get behind the Falcons.
Oh, no.
What?
So much for the season, boys.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what? It'd be
I thought you guys be happy.
the one year,
I'm
the
happy
one year
for
he
you.
won it. The one year he won it, they'd make a run.
Yep, now you screwed him over.
You probably did. He didn't pick him to beat the Cowboys this
No,
weekend.
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, he did. And I saw it. I saw his
You
pick.
can check it out on the Pick'em Challenge.
He picked the damn
favors the
Cowboys.
Falcons.
There it is right there in ink. But they won again.
Crazy is that?
So you know what? I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with this this strategy.
You know what that means, boys? We don't pick the Falcons anymore.
Yeah, you guys just flipped.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Speaking of the NFL, we got our NFL Week 9 instant reactions next.
With over 2 decades of family ownership and operation, E&B Granite is St. Louis's trusted name in renovations when it comes for time for your kitchen, your bathroom, or your outdoor spaces. I've had E&B Granite come in and redo the kitchen at my old house. The process was awesome. There's such a great group of people over there. The in-house design team helped me out big time, and the installers were fantastic. They took out everything, no problem, installed. It was beautiful. Now, E&B Granite, I'm calling upon them again, working on an outdoor kitchen right now, and they are the best in the business, and I trust them to get in there and do it perfectly, and they should. They have unbelievable people that work there, and let's not forget about their countertops. They've got granite, they've got marble, they've got soapstone, they've got so many great options available for you, and I know they'll help me pick the exact one that I need to fulfill everything I need on the outdoor living space. Head down to their showroom at 6135 Manchester Avenue. Just a great spot there, great showroom, and the in-house design staff is right there to help you every step of the way. But if not, you can always call them and book an appointment. That number is 314-645-9300. That's 314-645-9300, or visit them at enbgranite.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues snapped their losing streak as they defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday by a final score of 4-2. However, they do lose Philip Broberg for 4 to 6 weeks. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. If you missed that conversation or if you missed anything from today's show, make sure to go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our full shows there. We'll talk with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic, at 4:15, so stay tuned for that. And the Blues will take on the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow. You can listen to all the coverage right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Tonight we have Monday Night Football. It's the Chiefs and the Bucks. Pregame starts at 6:30. Speaking of NFL, we're going to dive into our Week 9 instant reaction that's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
One thing that always stands out to me during a Saturday in college football or on a Sunday in the NFL is if I'm really excited to watch a game and then it's so one-sided, the game winds up being disappointing. If I could take a step back from the disappointment and kind of look at the situation, that would indicate that the one team, the one side that kind of rolled is even more impressive than I thought. And that is Jamie's Detroit Lions. That game won great. Elements weren't good. Tough with it. But one thing that always travels, defense and a sound running game, certainly did so yesterday at Lambeau Field. Really bad mistake by Jordan Love. Lions capitalized on a pick 6, and the Lions running game looked really good. I know Green Bay kind of sort of got back into it in the second half, but that game was over. It felt over. It felt over at halftime, especially after the pick 6. The Lions are clearly the team to beat in the NFC. That's long been established. And I understand why you two, Marsh and Carey, have put the Lions number 1 in your power rankings. They certainly look and act the part. I was excited to watch that game yesterday. And by halftime, I'm like, this puppy's over with. And it's so impressive what the Lions have done.
It's crazy. I'm watching that game, and to start the game, I'm nervous because Green Bay's a good team. I mean, Jordan Love's a hell of a player. Green Bay's well coached. I mean, what else can you say about Matt LaFleur? He's a fantastic coach. And I'm watching the Lions basically bully the Packers all over the field. The Lions' offense is almost unstoppable. Like, I know the weather was a big part of yesterday. There were certain things they were limited to. But they've got the two-headed monster in the backfield. Mm-hmm. Between Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, that the one guy just runs through you. In fact, he prefers to run through your soul on his way to a first down, and the other guy you can't catch him.
Yeah,
they're unbelievable as far as a tandem is concerned. Jared Goff looks about as poised as any quarterback I've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. Like the pocket's caving in on him, and he just takes one little step up and finds a receiver. Mm-hmm. First down. How annoying is that? Like every time they make a play, it's chunks, 7 yards. 6 yards, 4-yard run, 10-yard run, 12-yard pass. Like, I don't know, man. And I'm watching them, and I'm thinking to myself, I just don't know of a defense that's going to be able to stop them fully. Now, the Chiefs have a great defense. Andy Reid's a hell of a coach, too. They're going to be armed for him. If it becomes a Super Bowl matchup, the Chiefs will be ready. I said to you guys in the text yesterday, if the Lions can get that edge rusher that they need to fill in for Hutchinson, I don't see anybody stopping them until the Super Bowl. And then who knows?
They are an exciting team to watch. They do offensively. We always talk about all 5 eligible receivers. That's both backs or 3 receivers, 1 tight end. However your lineup stacks in terms of receivers and running backs and tight ends. All of those guys being eligible to catch a pass and do something. The Lions spread the field. They make you cover the entire field, both, width and length, and they make sure that they get guys involved. And Jared Goff has not been blowing it out of the scenes the last couple of games. Last week he had 85 yards and they scored 52 points. This week he had 137 yards and they still won the game. They are explosive offensively. I think that game was more watching that. Jordan Love was not healthy. He made a terrible decision before halftime that cost them 6 points, cost them a touchdown on the pick six. Like that was a good game by the Lions, but I think it was also not a great game by the Packers. They didn't play well, but I don't want to take anything away from the Lions.
You better watch yourself.
I'm not taking anything away from the Lions. If I had one gripe, I do have one, and that is the way they rotate their running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs essentially sat on the bench the entire first quarter because David Montgomery was the lead back for I don't know if they go every series, one series, and then they play it by the hot hand. But somebody as explosive as Jahmyr Gibbs, because the Packers had the ball for the majority of the first quarter and then the Lions had it, he was just sitting there. That, to me, can be problematic. Nah, you don't need rest in the first quarter. But if I were to gripe about one thing, that would be it. And Jahmyr Gibbs still had 11 carries for 65 yards, caught a couple of passes. Like, he's going to do what he does. He scored the touchdown on 4th and 1. Like, he is electricity in the bottle once you get him the ball. But the Lions just have everything. My concern, again, same concern that I have with Sam Darnold, when it gets rough, when you have to have that quarterback, is Jared Goff going to make that play? Because, like I said, it's been easy the last couple of weeks. It's really been easy all year because they haven't had a lot of pressure on them except for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. So that would be my one concern.
So the one thing Dan Campbell said following the game, a couple things that I want to get into. One thing he said is that, like, we're built for this. Like, he's got these players thinking like they're in a war every week, and every player is a warrior that gets out there wearing Lions uniform. So,
well, that makes sense. They're the dirtiest team in the league.
Well, hey, are they winning? Are they winning?
No, they are.
Why do you say that?
Is it a branch?
Why? Because the headhunting?
Comment?
That guy had it coming.
Just go back.
That was not a dirty play. That was a terrible call. He's playing football, man.
Hit him square in the head.
Well, the guy is also going down. Like, the fact that you cannot react that quickly when a person starts to fall down or starts to go down and you're already trying to into your tackle form. Like, there is no way to adjust or adapt. Oh, goodness, he's a little lower than I initially expected. It doesn't work that way. So it's a bang play. He's already going to make the tackle. To me, this is I understand what they're trying to do. It used to be years ago, we didn't know what a catch was. Oh, is that a catch? It's not a catch. Hit the ground. Now we don't know what a legal tackle is. Like, that drives me absolutely crazy because football is you're going to get hit. If you think you're going to play this sport and not ever get hit in the mouth and question if you want to do this again, you're lying to yourself.
Carey, they were trying to twist Jordan Love's ankle after he threw the ball. He got rid of the ball.
Hey,
they were trying to twist his damn ankle. They've hurt so many people in the last 2 years. It is what it is. They're a good football team.
Okay,
they're a dirty football team. The Saints were a good football team back in the day. They were a dirty football team, probably dirtier than the Lions, but it is what it is.
Guys, I'll tell you something right now. Andrew, thank you. Thank you. Because if I didn't love the Lions before, now I freaking adore them. Yeah, they're dirty. They'll follow you home, hit you and your wife and your kids. I didn't mean that for real. Like,
if they're on the field.
If they're on the field, there you go.
If you're on the field, you get hit.
Good save. Thank you. Almost got canceled there. But Dan Campbell said another thing after the game that was interesting because they asked about his 4th down, because he did it again. 2 calls, 2 touchdowns on 4th down.
Yeah.
And by the way, they were great calls.
That one play design was awesome. The one that Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
I mean, how do you not get
fake everything?
How do How do you not touched as a running back on 4th and 1?
Did you Penny Sewell? Did you see that block?
No, it was
he
awesome.
Basically picked up a child and threw him. Like, he was like,
again with you and kids.
It's just a reference for the size and the manhandling.
Yeah, I got you.
Grow up a little bit. But hang on, Dan Campbell said this. Where they asked him, well, your 4th down, your players ever get nervous about that? And he says, well, let me tell you something. He said, when we started doing this, on 4th down, players would look to the sidelines. Like, what are we doing? And he says, then for me as the head coach, I had to make a decision. Are we going for it? Are we not? Can they do it? Can they not? He says, now 4th down, they don't even look at the sidelines.
They know.
He's like, they want it. And he goes, you know what? It's their team. They want 4th down. I believe in them. Never mind my call. I believe in them. So I was like, what a great psychology thing now, right? Because now, one, he's deflecting the blame from himself. Now, media, you want to ask me, hey,
It's
the players
their
want
fault.
it. They wouldn't come off the field.
Right.
But as a player, now you're looking at it, you're like, no, just give us the play.
Yeah.
And they believe in the play, and they 2 touchdowns off 2 fourth-down efforts.
Regardless of what I think about the Lions being dirty, they are a damn good football team. And one of my concerns heading into this week for them was how are they going to look not playing on turf indoor, right? This was their first outdoor game. You talk all the time about the Buffalo Bills. They're an indoor football team playing in Buffalo. That doesn't work, right? Yep. So that was my concern. It wasn't a huge concern by any means, but this was the first outdoor game. The weather, the elements were there, and they still just beat the brakes off of the Packers from a score standpoint, maybe in whatever. But
well, they're dirty players, according to you.
Well, I mean, go back and look. Like
I don't.
I
think
did. Every time I look, I smile even bigger.
I don't think they're a dirty team. I think they play hard. I think they play the right way. I was listening. I was going to send it to you all earlier. I was watching Dan Campbell. He was talking about, this was in the offseason, probably in training camp, and he was talking to the team. And like, I saw a few of you guys looking at me crazy because we went live. We had full pads and we went live. He said, I promise you, it's the only way to get you ready for the year. Like, if I could get you ready without going full practice, full live practice, I would. But we have to go through these parts of this game in order to prepare for parts of this practice to prepare for this game. There's no other way around it. And so it's just the mindset of we're going to be more physical. We're going to be tougher. We're going to go harder than our opponent. And it's showing up. Like, it's showing up. Like, people laughed at Dan Campbell when he was hired and he's talking about biting kneecaps and doing all those.
They laughed at Anthony.
What the hell is he talking about? But he has grown into this mindset for this team where they are just hard-nosed. They are going to face all challenges. They are not going to tuck their tail. They're not going to run away. And they're going to have fun doing it. So for me, they're the best team in the NFL right now until somebody else shows otherwise.
There you have it. We have our instant reaction, but we've got our game notes from week 9 in the NFL. Each of us put together 3 things that stood out, and we've done this every Monday, and we'll continue to do that throughout the course of the show today. We have what's trending next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking to accessorize your vehicle, please visit my great friends over at Pure Performance. They're your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. They got everything over there. They've got the running boards, the light kits, leveling kits, lift kits. I mean, you name it. Anything that you want for your vehicle, Pure Performance has it in-house. And I have had 2 vehicles that I've brought over to Pure Performance for a number of different things, and my experience has been fantastic. They do such a great job of asking you what you're looking for and then ask you what your budget is. And most people these days have a budget. Well, Pure Performance respects that. They find you the best possible products that they have for your budget, and then they hand off everything to their technicians who make it unbelievable for you. You're going to love your vehicle. All you have to do is get over to their 25,000 square foot facility right there in St. Peter's. Walk in, ask for Shelby or Caleb. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. And then let them help you out. Let them figure out what they can do to help your vehicle and you're going to absolutely love the experience. And get in there and see the showroom. So many amazing things. Every time I go in there, there's something new that I've never seen before, and that's over at Pure Performance. But if you can't get there in person, please get there online. They have a great website detailing everything that they have in-house, and that's over there at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, Dennis Allen.
See ya.
He's gone. Fired.
Was it the loss of the Panthers that did it?
Might have been the whole season. His quarterback stinks, too.
That's not his fault.
It's never his fault.
Hire him.
It's never Derek Carr's fault.
Derek Carr's a good quarterback.
Is he?
Just ask Michael Thomas.
Saints suck.
Did you see that?
No, did he back him?
Oh, yeah, did you see that?
No,
I actually think Derek Carr actually handled that perfect.
He did handle it very well.
He basically made it sound like Michael Thomas is just an angry individual that hates him, and he doesn't know why he hates him. He calls him, loved him as a teammate, but just one of those things that happens. Not going to like everybody you play with.
That was
I'm
bad.
paraphrasing.
It was bad.
Didn't he go around like asking New Orleans fans why they don't like Derek Carr or if they don't like him or something? I don't know. It kind of seemed a little petty, but I thought it was funny.
It's ridiculous. But
it's bad luck.
the Saints, that's one of my, I'll get into it, but they're not playing good football, man.
What made you think that?
Well, losing to the Carolina Panthers, for starters, who don't know how to win and finally found
Don't even want to win.
That's only their second win of the season. They got the same amount as you do. New Orleans, that's bad.
That's
football.
real bad.
But here's the thing. I thought Dennis Allen would be fired after last year. And I know they got better as the season went on, but there was nothing that made me feel like he was the perfect fit for this team and this organization. And, he's the second coach to be fired now. And I'm sure there will be a couple of more before the year ends. Probably one in Dallas as well. But, yeah, they are it's what happens when your team doesn't perform well. And they didn't perform well yesterday.
They've lost 7 straight games. And Derek Carr was out for a couple of those games, but I mean, he came back yesterday. It showed that it didn't matter. I mean, you lost to the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
That's awful.
That's bad.
Opportunity to win that thing, you lose, and that's nasty. I think Dennis Allen is one of many coaches that were better coordinators than head coaches. I think Dennis Allen should be a defensive coordinator somewhere in the NFL. There's a lot of bad defenses. There's a lot of bad defensive coordinators. I think Dennis Allen should be a DC somewhere next year. He's not a head coach, though. We've talked about this with other guys. Norv Turner is a great example of that. Hell of an offensive coordinator. Not a great head coach.
Yeah, I mean, in 6 years as a head coach, he's 26-53.
Oh,
Is that bad?
That's not great, Jamie.
26-4-53?
26 wins, 53 losses. Yeah.
Trying to help the guy out.
79 games coached. 18 and 25 when he was with New Orleans, and 8-28 with the old Raiders.
Man, Derek Carr's gotten that guy fired twice.
He has.
yeah.
No, he wasn't with the Raiders then.
No, I thought he was.
No, he wasn't with the
Was he
Raiders.
not?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. That was in 2014.
All right.
No, he totally would have been there.
I
He
think
wasn't
Derek
the
Carr.
head coach then, was he?
Oh,
Derek
Let's
Carr
check it
wasn't-
out. Somebody smart.
Derek Carr has been in the league since 2014.
That was Derek Carr's
First year. That sucks. Get this guy
Dennis
out of
Allen
here.
should punch him in the face.
Guys, good news.
Quarterback killer.
Good
Or
news
head coach killer, I should say.
good news for Cowboys fans, maybe bad news. Depends on how you look at it. Dak Prescott expected to miss several weeks with a hamstring injury. That is according to Adam Schefter. Saw a tweet the other day. Bad news to be a Yankees fan. First, your team loses in the World Series, and then your team loses to the Falcons.
And your Lakers drafted a guy that you don't think he should have drafted. So how about that? Lakers, Yankees, Cowboys, they're all fans. Same people.
Did you see Dak Prescott on the sidelines yesterday?
He looks happy, actually.
Not really.
Hey, fire up Chips! Cooper Rush.
Yes.
There we go. Rush time. Yeah, Dak Prescott on the sidelines. They caught him on camera saying, "We suck."
I see. He said we fast lane suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ain't wrong.
Yep.
That team is just so incomplete.
Yeah, but guys, okay, this is one of the most puzzling things for me. I don't know a lot about the depth of their roster, so you guys can help me with
They
that.
don't have any.
They don't have any.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yep.
Because I'm
There's
like,
not
you got
much.
Dak, who's an adequate quarterback. I never thought he should have got paid, but he's the guy they had, and it is what
on
I
deck.
understand. He's got to get paid. You paid CeeDee Lamb, but now CeeDee Lamb can't get the ball from a guy you paid a lot of money to. So CeeDee Lamb's kind of irrelevant. And then you got Micah Parsons, who he wants to be paid, but you got no money left in the bank, according to Jerry Jones, up against a salary cap. I get it, because Jerry's got plenty of money. And you're just terrible. Like, you're embarrassing.
The Falcons got 3 sacks yesterday in a game. I don't think they've had 3 sacks all season. They had 3 sacks yesterday. The O-line isn't good enough. There's no, outside of Ferguson, there's no secondary weapons behind CeeDee Lamb. Rico Dowell had a decent game yesterday. He had a good game yesterday.
Hey, good call on fantasy starts and sits.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys said to go with Dowdle.
And we also recommended Mooney, right?
We did.
We did.
All right.
Nice.
Look at us.
It would be nice. You should all text us back and let us know how it went.
I thought you were going to be wanting to
Good
get
work.
paid.
No.
Carey, we can't solicit money on the air.
No, they
I mean,
can.
if they want to, fine.
Yeah,
but
cash out.
you can't solicit it.
No, right.
My Venmo, by the way, is.
Carey's still waiting for that $1,000.
I'm still haven't heard from Brandon in a while.
we haven't heard from Brandon in a
Well, the
while.
season ended, so
Hopefully Brandon's okay. Hope he's doing
I
well.
think he owes me $1,000 though.
He does.
He does.
He's
Yeah.
talking you for sure.
Yeah. Said CD wouldn't go a full segment without being negative.
And look at me.
I remember that.
CD nailed it.
Did he ever?
Yep.
Extremely positive. So proud of myself.
You should be.
Yeah, took a lot out of me that day.
Zooch says, "Hey, with all due respect, the Falcons only won by 6 points. That's a lot for them. You see their games? Normally, it's
Cowboys
last
scored
second.
scored a touchdown to when nobody's looking, nobody's counting.
That game, when the Falcons went up 27-13, 11 minutes left, everything like that was done.
Dak was out of the game. Once he's out, the game is over. CeeDee Lamb got hurt. He was grabbing at his arm and elbow.
They're all going to be hurt soon. They're They're all going to be tapping out.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
They're jumping off the Titanic right now.
I'm hurt too. What's wrong with you? Ankle, hamstring. It's a lower body injury.
Yeah,
I read
got,
it in hockey.
concussion.
Yeah.
Got headaches.
Yep. Nothing to laugh at, so got to get me out of here. Drew Bannister has been dealt an absolute crap sandwich.
Come on.
It's next on ESPN.
If you're hungry after work, or any time for that matter, head into Twin Peaks over in Maplewood. This is a fantastic spot over there. Great location. So many wonderful people that work there. And if you're looking to catch, tonight, Monday Night Football on TV, they've always got sports going on all the TVs in the bar area. Great appetizers available. And something that I hadn't tried until this weekend was the flatbread pizzas. And I didn't get too crazy. I tried the OG pepperoni. It was awesome. Absolutely loved it. The crust was cooked nicely. Washed it down with a 29-degree man-sized draft, of course. They have so many great things on the menu, from whether it's burgers. They got the lobster roll, by the way, which is fantastic. They got the tacos. We talked about that, the new quesadilla tacos. They're fantastic. You can share them, too, with somebody that's there with you. And they've got a great selection of bourbons on tap there for you. They've got the Pink Whitney. They've got vodkas. They got all sorts of great refreshments for you. And what they really have is a great time over there. You walk in, and the staff is super courteous. They're going to answer any questions that you have. If you want something specific on TV, they'll change the channel for you. They'll make sure that you're happy while you're there over at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Broberg down along the near wing, takes the hit, keeps his footing, gets hauled down. Oh no, Broberg's hurt. That you don't want to see. The way he got hauled down was awkward. And Broberg in some real pain now in front of the Zamboni doors with 12:58 to go in the second period. Well, the Blues holding their collective breath right now.
I mean, the injury bug is mounting, and he's been your best player since the start of the season. Ray Barilli's on the ice, and he looks like he is in excruciating amount of pain.
Yeah, rough scene on Saturday as Philip Broberg suffers an injury that we now know will cost him the next 4 to 6 weeks. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN 305. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Drew Bannister has been dealt a crap sandwich, boys. An absolute crap sandwich. Decent roster coming in if everybody's healthy. Then he loses his top line center and one of the guys, to Joey Vitale's point, that has been a rock star since game one in Philip Broberg. This is a tough task. Now, Drew Bannister still has to do his job. He still has to find the right combinations that work until Thomas and Broberg come back. But that is his job now, to keep the team afloat while two of the best players that he has are out. Not to mention, like you said, Jamie, Nicoletti's still out too. Jamie, this is a crap sandwich for Drew Bannister. He didn't want this sandwich. He ordered something differently.
Well, he was given something different.
And then the hockey gods slid across this.
Yeah.
You realize you got two nice pieces of bread in between it, though. Something you don't want.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that. And I will say this is my partner on the broadcast, John Kelly, has said it a couple of times. He said it last year, and he said it again to start this season. He's like, the Blues have been very fortunate to not really deal with bad injuries last year. They didn't have a lot of man games lost last year. And then to start this season, you lose Torrey Krug for the season before it even starts. And people can have their own opinion or whatever. You lost one of your core defensemen before the season started. Boom, done. Then you lost your best forward all around, Robert Thomas. Then you lost Nicoletti. Now you've lost Philip Broberg. Like, it is piling up. And let's not...
Matthew Joseph.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't leave him left out because he was a really big part of the intense forecheck that the Blues had going on. I mean, he's always buzzing out there. You miss his energy right now on the ice, for sure. And... But this is when you find out what kind of coaching staff you have. Because how many times you see in any sport where coaches run into injuries and they have to tweak the way they play, tweak the lineup, change certain things, and they just continue to win. And people go, how the hell is that team winning? They shouldn't be winning. So it's a combination of coaching and then players stepping up. Like, coincidence or not, the other night, Colton Parayko becomes an absolute monster after Philip Broberg's injury. Ryan Suter becomes a minute muncher after that, playing almost the rest of the game as much as he possibly could. Those guys stepped up. Up front, you had guys play big games. Like, I knew that Braden Shen was going out there and going to fight immediately. I've been around a long time, Anthony, and there's a certain look a player gets in their face. I knew it when guys came on the ice and stared at me like that. Okay, I'm like, he's coming for me. Like, you just know. And I watched Braden Shen go out for his first shift of the game, and he ran over a couple of guys. I'm like, oh, he's looking for it. He's like, okay, who wants it?
Yeah.
The next time they lined up, that McCabe guy who had drilled in the first shift said, okay, let's do this. So he gets the crowd going early. And it's good to see him do that once in a while. Again, you know how I feel. It can't always be Braden Shen. He's too good of a player, and he's a veteran guy. He shouldn't be the only guy that has to do that. Well, cue the rest of the team. The rest of the game was physical. It really was. And this is the part I wanted to let you guys in on. I laughed so hard. Is in the third period, the same player, McCabe, who plays tough for the Leafs. Got to give him credit. He took a beating from Braden Shen and kept running around hitting guys, which is, I love that. Like, you take your lumps, you don't change the way you play. Well, he runs over Pavel Buchnevich in the third period. Then he comes straight across the ice and hammers Texier. Jake Neighbors, being the awesome kid that he is, he sees him go skating by, and then he hears a ruckus because he's watching the play, and he looks around, he turns around, and Holmberg is the guy skating out from the pile. But Holmberg didn't hit anybody. Just a kind Swedish hockey player trying to make a living. And Jake Neighbors goes, oh, no, not up in here, and two hands him in the back of the legs. So now McCabe, the original guy who did it, he's nowhere to be found. Holmberg's down with a Paul Bunyan chop to the back of the legs. And then, of course, now the scrum happens. Yeah. And then Pavel Buchnevich, I don't know if he knew if it was Holmberg or not. He comes in and drags Holmberg out of the pack, and starts beating him up like he owes him lunch money. By the way, who saw Pavel Buchnevich being able to throw hands like that?
Yeah, right.
I was impressed. I'm looking at the replay. He's got his chin tucked, eyeball straight ahead, not even blinking, punching straight ahead like he's starting a lawnmower. Just like boom, boom, boom.
I think that's always been in him, though. Like, remember, like, one of his first few games as a Blues, he headbutted somebody.
Yeah,
like, you know it's in there.
Being crazy doesn't mean you can fight.
That's fair.
That's
You know
it,
what I
yeah.
mean?
But sometimes it comes out.
Jamie's talking from like a technical standpoint.
From a technical
For sure,
standpoint, he had good, solid base. He was like, steady on his skates, good tie-up, and was just throwing punches straight down Broadway. That Holmberg was just praying for the refs to come in. And so I laughed at the whole sequence because the one guy who really had nothing to do with it got chopped in the back of the legs and got the pants beat off him for his teammate running around like an idiot.
Hey, shouldn't have been standing there.
He shouldn't have been standing there. But getting back to the original topic, it's, Drew Bannister now, these guys, the players, recognizing that they've got to elevate, not just with the physicality. I think the team needs that physicality. I think you need that emotion. How about that? You need to play physical, and as far as the fighting and things go, if you play physical, if you play intense hockey, the fights will find you.
Yeah.
I always said that. People, I couldn't find a fight tonight. That's a lie. That's a lie. And then a tough guy say, well, I couldn't find a fight tonight. The only guy that I knew that was true was Tony Twist.
He couldn't find one.
Couldn't find one.
Nobody was looking for him.
So you know what he did?
he wouldn't got it.
No, he'd come and tell me, go find me a fight. So then I'd go run the goalie or do something stupid. And then, then the fight, he get to play now. The Twister's like, hey, I get to get off the bench now.
Yeah.
But he's the only guy I've ever seen. Everybody else I remember playing with teammates. I couldn't find a fight, and I'm like, bull spit. It's because you didn't do anything to warrant being in a fight.
Right.
Like, if you can't get in a fight every other shift, like, you're not trying. So I like that guys are playing hard and playing physical and playing as a group, like that one where Holmberg gets beat up by Buchnevich. There was 5 Blues jerseys in the pile, grabbing guys and swinging away and like helping each other out. To me, that's how this team gets through it, is coming closer together as a team and everybody working extremely hard for the guy that's beside them. That's all you can do, because you're not going to out-talent a lot of teams right now just because you're missing a big portion of your talent.
Yeah.
Both guys on the blue line, extremely talented individuals. Both guys up front, very talented as well. So for me, it's a team coming together, playing hard, playing blue-collar hockey, and scratching and clawing to get wins.
There you go.
Nothing like building chemistry by beating the
One
snot
punch
out of
at a
somebody.
time.
One,
Damn
I
right.
love it. Yes.
It's amazing what it can do
Yes.
for the group.
No doubt. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. That's how we find our chemistry a lot of the times. We get a little off kilter. We go to a bar, start a fight.
Yeah. Say, hey, Marshy, go find us a fight.
Go find us a fight, Marshy.
Hey, you know what? I'll take one of the chin.
No, you won't.
No, you don't have to worry about that,
Yeah.
Marshy.
Oh, nah.
We'll see that coming way beforehand.
Absolutely. All right, Carey Davis is week. It's week 9 NFL
Plus,
notes.
Anthony likes to get punched in the face.
Have you guys ever wanted
that's a pool. A set of
Yeah,
pool.
but still.
like low key wanted one of your friends to get hit in the face so you could jump in and like have a reason to fight somebody?
Oh, yeah.
I've
One of my best friends
been
growing
there.
up was a fight starter. And, like, he was always surrounded by a group of us that could handle ourselves fine. Sure. And so he was like the little yappy dog, the little chihuahua, yap, 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 like nipping at people's heels and get all banged up and be like challenging people to fight. And we'd step in and settle it, whatever. And one time, I'm like, no, you got it. You're good. I was tired of it. Like, every week, I'm like, I've been enough. He's like, yeah, we want to go. I'm like, and he like looked around. I'm like, yeah, go get him. he's like shaking off the pitch. No.
That's not how this goes.
He's like, no.
Pitch comm stopped working.
So then I actually stepped in that one time and told the other guy, I'm like, let's just go away. Like, and I grabbed him. I said, listen, enough, man. Enough. Like, if there's something that's really like, but from now on, if you do that crap, you're going in first, and we'll figure it out later.
Yep.
He's like, okay. That was it.
Model citizen the rest of the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great dude.
Who needs another beer? All right, Carey's NFL Week 9 game notes next on 101 ESPN. Time for NFL Week 9 game notes. Carey Davis leads us off.
Ooh, baby.
CD, what'd you see yesterday?
Well, I saw a few things. First, I'm going to start with Dak was right. We talked about it earlier. He was right. He was caught
right about.
He was caught on the sideline. He said, "We fast lanes up." He is correct. They are terrible. They are not a good football team right now.
Great.
And now Dak is going to be out for several weeks, reported, with a hamstring injury. Said he felt something pop, never felt anything like that before. Not great. This team is they are headed in the wrong direction. They don't have any playmakers. They don't have enough offensively or defensively to make a push for the playoffs. They got Cooper Rush starting. I know you're excited about that, Anthony.
Fire up chips, baby.
Central Michigan. He's gonna probably correct some things for them, but
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, they're not great. And then the other thing, I was listening to the I think it was Get Up this morning, and Dan Orlovsky said that for next season, 46% of the cap is already accounted for in 2 players.
Yep.
Dak and CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
I don't know how you think you're going to get better. Like, you got to spend 54% of the money on 51 other players.
And they haven't signed Parsons.
Good luck with that.
This is why when Jamie and I were telling you, like, hey, you actually have to really think about paying Dak, and you were like, no, you're not going to think about it.
He's like, no, just give him the money. Has he earned it? No, but he's your guy. You got to pay him.
You didn't have no choice. Now, hindsight being 2020, you probably let him go into this year without a contract and say, the hell with it. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, wait, now we have a choice.
You didn't have a choice at the beginning of the season. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did, actually.
Yeah, you could have went into the season without a quarterback next year.
And that might be better off.
Maybe. Hell, you might not be wrong. But he's there now. He's locked in, and we'll see. They are they're struggling, and we'll see if they'll figure some things out. My second thing I took away, the Saints' self-destruction was at an all-time high yesterday. Like, to lose to the Carolina Panthers, a team that came into the season into that game with 1 win, to lose that game in the manner in which they did. And there was a play, I was watching the game, and there was a play in the third quarter where I said, this is going to cost them this game. It was 4th and 1. They had picked up a 3rd and 16. It was 3rd and 17. They picked up 16 yards. It was 4th and 1 on, I think, their own 46-yard line, so right at midfield. Mm-hmm. And they didn't go for it. And it's the third quarter. There's about 6 or 7 minutes left in the game. And I said, this is going to cost them the game. Because at that moment, yeah, it's the Panthers. You were up 22-17 at that time. Yeah, it's the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, you should, but they shouldn't even be this close. You just picked up 16 yards on 3rd down. Damn it, go for it on 4th. Mm-hmm. Because what's the difference if you punt it away and they get the ball back, and they get the ball and they go score, which is essentially what happened a couple of series later. That, to me, was the game for them. They didn't go for it. They took a 5-yard penalty, tried to draw them off sides, punt it. The Panthers didn't score on that next drive, but they scored a couple of drives later. And that's how you lose the game. And that's it for me. Like, it's not surprising that Dennis Allen was fired after. Like, to lose to that team in that manner on the road, Bryce Young, they just traded Deontay Johnson. Like, they don't have, I don't even know who they were throwing the ball to. Leggett was there. He had a good game. Yeah. But they weren't, that's not a team you should lose to. Chuba Hubbard played his butt off. Again, I don't know how he still runs the ball as effectively as he does for the Panthers when they don't have anything else going on offensively. But the Saints did it to themselves, and Dennis Allen was the casualty of that from yesterday's loss.
Yeah, they really started to give up a couple of weeks ago. You could just tell. Yeah. You could tell they gave up. And really, I think it kind of happened at the end of the Kansas City game on that Monday night. It was like you could tell they were toast. And it was a span where they played like 3 games in a very, very short amount of time because they had like a Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. Yeah. Because the schedule makers did them no favors on it. But like the soul left the Saints team in that window. Yeah. And you thought, well, maybe Derek Carr can come back and they get a win against the Panthers and right the ship. But instead, it was the exact opposite. They had no fight to it.
It's been bad for them, and they, that's what they get. That's what they are. That's where they are. That's where they're going to be. My last point is the Eagles at 6-2 might be the scariest team in the NFL.
Really?
But not how you think.
What do you mean?
Nick Sirianni scares the hell out of me, man.
He's terrible.
He scares the hell out of me.
I was kind of rooting for them to lose.
What are you doing?
After he went for 2 again and they didn't make it again.
What are you doing? Like, the numbers don't even add up. Like, there's a sheet that you have that tells you you're up by this many, go for 2, go for 1. You're down by this many, go for 2, go for 1. His sheet has to be off. Like, I don't know what sheet, if he even has one. He's just going off the seat of his pants. His decision making, some of the things that he's doing. You know, he didn't go for it on 1 4th down because they got stopped on the tush push a couple of times. Like, there are critical in-game decisions week after week that leave you scratching your head. I was a fan of going for it when they went for it against the Falcons. I thought it was a great play call. Thought it was a great design. Saquon dropped the ball. But from that point on, there have been critical decisions that I often am asking, like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And it's almost like he thinks he's the smartest person. Nobody has ever done this. Oh, Nick, there's a reason, buddy.
Right.
Because it doesn't work. Yeah. It's not smart.
He's
not
just doing
sound.
it to do it.
Yes.
He took points off the board yesterday.
Yes, that was the other one.
They kicked the extra point, but then there was a flag, and they got it closer.
And then now you made it a one-possession game because you didn't get the 2-point conversion. Like, what are you doing? There's a lot of questions that are left out there week after week, and you got some of the best players in the world on your team. Saquon Barkley made a play that I have never seen.
My God.
I was listening.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I was listening, like I had walked away from the TV, and I've never seen a play like this in my life. I'm like, oh, come on, all right. And I saw the replay. I was like, oh, I've never seen anything like that in my entire life.
Like, why did he even try that? That was so weird.
Because he can.
It's instinctual. Like, he's not.
It was unreal.
He is playing, like, the game for him has slowed down to the point where he is seeing everything play out before it actually happens. Like, the game, it's amazing when you get to that point where you can literally see the things as they're happening and you can make a decision. He is at that level. They have some of the best players in the NFL, and Nick Sirianni, I hope this doesn't happen, but he's going to ruin their season for them at some point.
He will. It's going to happen. We've talked about it. I feel the same way. I'm like, he's going to screw this up. But that Saquon Barkley play, if that happened in Madden, you'd be like, this game's unrealistic.
Well,
there's a glitch in the system here.
Yes.
well, there typically is.
Not anymore. Not after what Saquon Barkley did yesterday, jumping over a guy backwards.
Spinning backwards, jumping over a guy.
Hey, what do you think the Giants are thinking right now?
Wow, we'll be
They're
good to
fine.
have him.
They gave Washington a game yesterday.
Saquon's fine not being a Giant right now.
He is.
Yeah.
How are they?
Woof.
Not great. Yeah. All right, that was Carey's Week 9 game notes here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Marsh, Jamie, and me, we all have our game notes coming up. Advice with former athletes is next, though. If you have any questions for Carey and Jamie, thoughts about, like, hey, I wonder what it's like to be in the locker room when this happens, send us a text, 314-399-9646. That's our Air Comfort Service text line. Advice with former athletes next.
If you're someone who likes to check out the local sports games or the national sports games and place a wager on it, you know there's nowhere better in Las Vegas than the Circa Casino and Hotel. My buddy Derek Stevens, who owns Circa, he's had a dream for a long time telling people that he wanted to create the world's largest sports book. Well, he has done it in Las Vegas. And the best part is, now he's put it in the palm of your hand. Circa Sports Illinois, the app is fantastic. It's all the same odds and splits that they do at the casino in Las Vegas. They got tight money line splits. There's no betting limit either, which is fantastic. It's super easy to use. Anybody can jump on there, download the app. I've done it and play several wagers. It really is easy to do it. And if you're looking at any matchups tonight, I just got one for you tonight. in the NHL, Los Angeles Kings playing Nashville Predators. Nashville's starting to find their game. They're sitting there on the money line at minus 138. I would go here and put the money on Nashville. And again, it's super easy to do so because the Circa Sports app is fantastic to use. Super user-friendly. So please don't miss out on the action. Download and bet like a pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today and join in on the excitement. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs over the weekend 4-2. They'll take on the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow. You can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Some unfortunate news. Philip Broberg, he will be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I guess depending on how you look at it, that could be a good thing for the Blues as what we saw over the weekend. It didn't look too good, so 4 to 6 weeks for Philip Broberg. We talked about that earlier. We'll also talk about it with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic. 4:15, we'll talk with JR at 4:15, so stay tuned for that. We have Monday Night Football tonight. It's the Chiefs and the Bucks. Pregame starts at 6:30. But coming up next, we have advice with former athletes. So get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Advice with former athletes next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Give me some advice, quick.
Advice with former athletes here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. If you got a question for our guys, choose Super Bowl champion Carey Davis or former NHL defenseman, Blues, Habs.
Didn't know what I was, did you?
Panthers. No, just trying to think of all the teams.
Person.
Senators.
Oh, God.
Croatians. Thrashers, absolutely. Thrashers. Phoenix Coyotes.
Oh,
No, Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, the Phoenix Coyotes. Remember them?
Nope.
Exactly. Jamie ruined them.
He did.
Yeah. New York Islanders, of course. He was a forward with the Islanders at one point.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
No. It's the Bruins.
Bruins. He was a forward with the Bruins as well.
Did you say Detroit?
Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, don't forget the Red Wings.
Absolutely. All right, March, what do you got?
All right, before we get to the Air Comfort Service text line, Philip Broberg, he is out for 4 to 6 weeks, right? And that gives Scott Perunovich a little bit more opportunity here for the Blues. If you're Scott Perunovich, how do you go about this? He has to know that, like, not that his time is running out, but that he needs to step up and play some good hockey. If you're Scott Perunovich, how do you go about that without getting in your head?
Yeah, I said this last week. You just appreciate the opportunity to play and stay in your lane. Don't try to do something that you're not capable of doing when it comes to creating offense or, being a player that you're not. If you try to do too much, usually that blows up in your face. So if I'm Scott Perunovich, the first game or two that I'm playing, I'm making sure that my passes are crisp, tape to tape. I'm taking whatever play is available to me first. First time you see a guy open, pass the puck to him. You're in the offensive zone, you see a shot lane to the net, take the shot. Don't look for the bigger, better play. Get yourself going, get your feet under you, and just keep it simple, for lack of better words. That way there you can build some confidence, and then you start playing to your abilities, and then then you can expand outside the playbook, so to say. But to start this off, he's going to have to be solid defensively, make simple plays, and make sure that he's contributing. Don't expect too much from yourself at that point.
Would it also be just do the things that got you here? Like,
it is, but Carey, it's hard. But it's hard, right? Because he's had a couple of years now where he's injured, he's not, he's up, he's down, he's playing, he's not. You start getting in your own head.
Yeah.
That way. And you forget what you were.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I speak from experience. You forget what you were when you were drafted by that team. Because now you're like trying to play a role to just stay in the lineup, right? So that's why I'm like, for the first little go around here, like, just make the plays that are available to you. And then once you get that confidence back where the game's slowing down a little bit for you, I'm not saying slowing down like it would be for like an all-star player, but just for you personally, slowing down a little bit, now you expand what you're able to do. Take a shot downfield, so to say, make a nice pass, stretch pass, rush up the ice, but get your confidence back first.
All right, let's head to the Air Comfort Service text line from the 816. What's your advice to these teenage kids making pro money in college? How do you not spend it?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I wish I would have had some help with that. I mean, look, anybody who knows my story knows that I wasn't dying with it, that's for sure. And it was a bad decision. Lots of bad decisions financially because I didn't have the guidance. It's not that my parents didn't care. They did. They never had money. So it was foreign to them. And then, my dad's mentality was, don't trust anybody. They're all just going to try and take your money on you. So then when financial advisors would try to help, I thought he just wants my money. He's trying to steal my money, which was the wrong attitude to have. But my dad, he was trying. He was doing the best he could. Yeah. But my advice would be to sit down with 3 or 4 different financial planners that come to you, what's what I'm looking for? Highly referred by people that you know, and pick one that you think vibes with what you're trying to do, If you have family or friends that are very close to you that are in the financial world, have them sit in on those meetings and ask questions with you and see what the path is. And then once you pick somebody, let them do their job. Don't get in the way. They make money off of you making money. So if you lose money, they don't make money. It's one way to look at it.
I would say talk to your coaches. I mean, your coaches are adults. Most of them are hopefully financially secure or headed in that direction, especially if it's the head coach. If you're at a big program, talk to him, ask him questions, and find that person that you trust, that you know, because if you're in college and you're making a ton of NIL money, you're more than likely around people that are successful and making some type of money in that way. So ask questions and find a financial advisor. I was fortunate to get my financial advisor through our player personnel guy in Pittsburgh. And he said, hey, you need to talk to this guy. He'll help you. And he's been with me since then. So, like you said, trusted friends, people that you know. I agree with the part of being afraid and being concerned about, but you don't want to just be frivolous with that money with the expectation that it will last forever, because it will not.
No, it doesn't.
It ends at some point for everybody.
Especially ask your coaches if you're actually getting paid, too. Otherwise, you might not get that money. You might have to hit the transfer portal.
Not Sluka. Be quarterback. What's going on there?
Yeah.
He'll be just fine, apparently.
Yeah. This one's funny from the 314. One of the funniest things I've heard in my life. How does it feel when a teammate says, I had my guy?
Depends if he's telling the truth or not. That's the wonderful thing about video. And Carey, I'm sure in your football career, I think there was probably always video.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There wasn't always video in my hockey career. So, you had a couple of teams, playing junior hockey. You'd get, kind of the VHS guy way up top there trying to film. But when I turned pro, most of the games weren't televised. You'd get the odd game televised. The Blues were just starting to get some coverage here, on every single game. So a lot of video wasn't, available. So you could, in the team meeting, be like, well, guys, I'm sorry, but I had my guy on that play there. And then when video came about, boy, oh boy, did it make some liars.
You're a liar, aren't you?
No, you had your guy out. You were 10 feet away from the guy. So when a guy says that, before, when we had no video, it was always why are you telling me you had your guy before I asked you?
Yeah.
That's a little bit suspicious. But here's what I'll say about playing pro sports is everybody makes mistakes. And so if your teammate makes a mistake and doesn't have his guy and a goal happens, you better believe there's going to be a point in time where you don't have your guy and the guy scores.
Right.
It does no sense to kick that guy right in the Pishneras just because he made a mistake. Now, if he makes the same mistake over and over and over and over again, then the coach has to step in. That's the way I look at it.
How about Diggs in that Cowboys-Falcons game when he's just throws his arm up? Did you see that play?
Here's what DBs do. And I know this. Because it's on TV, they'll point at somebody else. Hey, that was my fault. It was my fault. Yeah. It was my fault. That was on me, but you're on TV. They don't know. They think you're pointing at the person.
Right.
Yeah. No, that was my fault. It was me. That's me. But
I got you, dog. That was me.
That was on me. But everybody else is like,
well, yeah, you get the other
it's the safety's fault.
Point at you.
That's funny you say that, because I remember there's a teammate of mine in the minors that he'd go line up for the face-off. He was a pretty tough guy, but he'd line up for the face-off against some of the other guys' knuckle draggers, other teams' knuckle draggers. And then you'd look over and the guy would be shaking his head no. And so you come back to the bench and he doesn't want to go. You're like, holy crap, he doesn't want to go. So one time I just happened to be standing close enough to it, and he'd ask a guy some obscure question about a restaurant. Hey, you ever been to that, the Palms over there? And be like, no, I've never been there. But the guy's shaking his head, saying, no, I've never been. Say, he doesn't want to go. He was never asking him any time.
Doesn't want to go to the restaurant.
He shook his head, doesn't want to go. And if you don't know, you don't know. You're like, okay, well, all right.
Tough.
I was like, so that just sparked a memory for me, CD.
That's awesome. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We'll continue with our NFL Week 9 game notes. Andrew Marsh has got his notes next here on 101 ESPN.
hard time getting approved? At Dream Nissan Midwest, if you make $250 a week, you are approved. Guaranteed. That's right, guaranteed credit. It gets better. Free lifetime warranty with every new Nissan. Limited time. Brand new Nissan Sentras, just $49 a week with life.
If you're looking for some help with your car or your home insurance, please call Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency, partnered up with Allstate Insurance. They're going to fight to get you the best rate, but they're going to make sure you're covered properly, and you're going to get that personal attention that you deserve. Nothing's more stressful than having a question regarding car insurance or home insurance where you just don't understand maybe what the rate is or why the rate is something, and you phone and that 1-800 number. You talk to 3 or 4 different people before you finally get your answer, but it's been 20, 25 minutes, and you're still not satisfied with what's going on. It's a very, very frustrating, helpless feeling. Well, that doesn't happen with the Bibb Agency. They take great care of you, always do, and they make sure that you're covered with the proper coverage. And Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency are involved in so many amazing causes here in the community. Got United Cerebral Palsy, the Purple Stride, Kids Rock Cancer, the Little Bit Foundation, just so many great things that they take care of in the community. So please give them a call for a free non-committal quote today. That number's 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
Andrew Marsh has his NFL Week 9 game notes for us. We listened to Carey's earlier. Marsh, what's your top choice?
Oh, it's got to be the Bears, Anthony. The Bears continue to bear. Bears are bad. That's what they are. Matt Eberflus, got to go.
How has he still got a job?
Got to go.
He won't have one for long.
Oof.
Man, DJ Moore checked out. Not just in the game. He literally checked out of a play. I don't know if you saw that. Running down the field. Caleb Williams is scrambling per usual. DJ Moore, nah. Play still going on. I'm going to take myself right to the bench. What's going on?
It's a player you want, right?
What is going on in Chicago?
There's a level of frustration when you are losing, when you are. Here's the thing, especially for wide receivers. Like, people will say they can be divas if they're not getting targeted, if they're not getting the ball in rhythm, if they are not having the success that they feel as though they need to have. There's a level of frustration, and so. I'm not condoning walking off the field middle of a play, ever. That'd be problematic. You got one guy last week who wasn't paying attention to the play. He got sat for the first quarter, I believe. I don't know if DJ Moore gets punished for that, but that, to me, that becomes a culture, a mindset, a team that is not all pulling the rope in the same direction.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pull it that way this time because, hey, I ain't got the ball in a couple of series, so hell with that.
Mm-hmm.
Carey, let me ask you a question. You got the play that happened at the end of the Commanders game where, what's his name, is yelling.
Stevenson.
Stevenson's yelling at the crowd, and he comes in, then he makes the wrong play by tipping it up instead of batting it down. And then you have this happen, and I know there are a few other things. How does the GM or the owner run it back the next week with the same head coach? Like, how do you not flush the system? Like, I might fire everybody if this is what's going on with my team. Like, it's a horrible look, and it's no way that you can win.
And I'm looking at the play again. It looks like he kind of limped off, so maybe
brother
it might
man.
have been a calf.
619 says heard he was injured, also stepped out so he couldn't touch the ball.
So once you go out, you can't be the first person. You can touch it. You just can't be the first person to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
So he stepped out of bounds, and then you can kind of see him limping towards the bench. Probably not a good look in terms of where this team is. You go to Arizona and lose that game. Arizona is the best team in the NFC West, for those that don't know. Surprise, surprise. Talking to you, Anthony Stalter. But he
never believed.
He hates the Cardinals.
Says Jamie Rivers, the mayor of Kyler Murray sucks.
Yeah, they are. The Bears are in a bad place right now, and we'll see how it goes.
It's terrible.
That old line stinks. Plus that run defense. I mean, they just got owned by James Conner yesterday.
James Conner
just got leaned on.
Not great. No, James Conner.
And it looked like the Bears are kind of figuring things out. Now they're taking their rightful spot there in fourth place in the NFC North.
You hate to see it.
They hate to see it. Yep.
Not. My second note is that Dan Quinn has reshaped Washington's organization. Man, imagine if he was in Dallas.
Imagine if you had a guy like that in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You got a head coach. What are you guys talking about? Yeah.
I think Dan Quinn would be suffering from the same issues that Mike McCarthy is having.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it's actually better that Dan Quinn went to a team where they had zero expectations and was able to build his own thing.
Dan Quinn is, he's really good at the players love him. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that comes in and you hate the term players coach, but he is somebody that has never had an issue guys buying into what he's preaching. He's very positive, yet he can also be, tough love guy. Somebody that players really enjoy. I think that works for a while. And then at some point, he doesn't get over the hump. And we'll see what happens if he loses his OC, too, with Cliff Kingsbury. Kingsbury may have found a home. I don't know. Maybe he's there for the long haul.
He's probably a better coordinator than head coach.
I agree with that. We'll see if he stays.
Some people need to... that's one of the things that bothers me about head coaches' hirings. He's a great offensive... Doesn't mean he's a great coach. Doesn't mean he's a great head coach.
We just talked about this Dennis Allen.
He can call up defense or offense with the best of them. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean he can lead an entire group. Yep. There's a difference.
Guys want to play for him, though. There's no question about it. And that defense, there's no talent on that defense. And that defense is playing very well. There isn't. There's not a time. You look at that defense, they traded a lot of those guys away over the last couple of years. Anybody that they had in the top 10, they're gone. And Dan Quinn obviously is doing a great job coaching that unit up. We'll see what happens when the schedule gets a little tougher because they are playing a fourth-place schedule, I believe. And they've got some, they got the Giants in the NFC East, Cowboys now. I mean, things are really shaping up for the Commanders to be what the Texans were a year ago. They are the Texans this year.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, not literally.
No, they are.
They didn't go to Houston and become the Texans.
No, they didn't. But they had the second overall pick, second quote-unquote best quarterback in the class.
Yep.
And they're having more
Softer
success
schedule.
than the team that drafted the quarterback first.
Yep.
So I like what they're doing. My third game note is, one, the Lions are the best team in the NFC. And we talked about that earlier. But are there any legit NFC teams other than the Lions? Is it the Lions and then boom, long pause, next best team?
I think in the NFC, I think the Eagles are there, but Nick Sirianni scares me.
Carey, you just dogged on them.
Yeah,
12 minutes.
No.
They're a good team with a horrible coach.
They have the second most talent in the NFC.
I'll give you that, but
So on the offensive side, like they have the second most talent, and they probably have defensively. I would stack them up with the Detroit Lions. Defensively, I would stack them up with the Detroit Lions. I would.
maybe from like a on paper.
Who's the best defensive player for the Detroit Lions?
He's hurt right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. On paper, I'll give it to you.
The Philadelphia Eagles have two stout interior defensive linemen, both from Georgia, that get after the quarterback, get after the run game. Defensively, I think they match up pretty well. Offensively, they have the same number of weapons. The Detroit Lions have two backs. The Philadelphia Eagles have one. The Eagles got two receivers.
Yeah.
The Eagles got 1.5.
But you can't put the Eagles on the same level as the Lions. It's not even close.
If the Lions
You
and the
asked me
Eagles were
which
playing
was
tomorrow, Carey,
who
who
was
are
the
you
next
picking?
best team in the NFC.
He asked you who was legit after the Lions.
And I said the next best team in the NFC. And is that?
Do you think
am I not? Did I
But
not?
do you
hold on,
think
because
the next
I wanna
best
make sure-
team record-wise
I
doesn't
wanna
mean they're
No,
legit?
because I do this in life, and I want to make sure that I don't have a problem. Did I not hear it correctly, or did I not spin it back to you in the same way?
You did it. You're just wrong.
Well, no, I want to make sure I got the question correct.
You're wrong on this one, Carey.
Marsh, I took that as, is there any legit team right now?
Yes, that's what I was
to
asking.
represent, like in the AFC, you could say the Chiefs, the Ravens,
The Steelers.
maybe the Bills.
What?
That's it.
The Steelers.
You go to the NFC.
Almost cursed, Jamie.
Almost keep up my notes.
Is there another team besides the Lions you could say, like, yeah, that team could, I could
The
see that team
Philadelphia Eagles
representing
are
the
second
NFC
best.
in the Super Bowl?
Who is the second best team in the NFC?
Just let him have it. Just let him have it.
The
49ers.
second best team. I mean, I would put the
Heck no.
Commanders above Philadelphia right now.
49ers are getting healthy, Carey. You'll see.
guys crazy?
They are. Christian McCaffrey back in practice.
See, I look at the team as a whole, though. Like,
Jamie.
yes, they have all these pieces. That's fantastic. Can you put it together, or is your head coach stopping you? Right now, their head coach is stopping them.
100%.
So, and he ain't leaving anytime soon unless he gets fired. But the record would indicate that he won't.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're a playoff team. I don't think they could even sniff
The
the
Eagles
Lions
play the
right
Commanders
now.
in 2 weeks. We'll revisit this conversation.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think the Commanders are in.
I'll take that action.
Well, Anthony said the Commanders were the second best team in the NFC.
That doesn't mean they're legit, though.
I said the Commanders are better than the Eagles. The second best team right now in the NFC
It's the Philadelphia Eagles.
is like a mix mash of the Packers and the Commanders and the
You hush your mouth. Are you guys serious?
yeah.
Are you?
I'm dead serious.
That concerns me.
Did you watch that game yesterday and
did
think that the
watch
Eagles are a legit team?
I
just
just
dogged
said-
on
I
them for
know.
an entire segment.
I said
I
they
thought
are.
I was
they
hallucinating,
are
but that
6-2
happened.
and might be the scariest team, but not because of the way you think. They are scary because they are 6-2, but they are also scary because their head coach makes decisions that I'm like, well, why is he doing that? But correct me if I'm wrong. Is there not a head coach in Detroit that does the same damn thing? Where you're like, 4th and
but their
15
team's
from
plus
your own 34.
110. In differential.
Okay, you guys are hilarious.
Looks like we got a good debate.
This is interesting.
Not really.
I thought Aaron Rodgers was the only one that dipped into the ayahuasca.
Right.
That's what I was doing when I was.
That's what I thought, yeah.
What are you talking about?
He's got two different cups over here.
Yeah,
And his
seriously.
propane tank. He's really jazzed up today.
Yep. Okay.
Be careful.
That makes sense now.
All right.
That makes sense. All right, we've got the Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, and we called our guy Stewie to talk about opportunity. And I know, Stewie, there's a lot of people right now probably wondering, well, what opportunity do we have, right?
Anthony, this country is opportunity. Tomorrow, you have the opportunity to vote. Don't think your vote doesn't make a difference. It does. Every vote makes a difference. You also have opportunity to get 100% financing, 80% cash out, 90% cash out. You don't have these opportunities in countries anywhere else in the world. Other countries, you have to put down 30%, 40% to buy a house. You can't get the cash out. All kinds of restrictions. It's not fixed. Take advantage of the opportunities. You have the tools to make your life better. All you have to do is actually make the effort and make it happen.
Yeah, take advantage, too, of giving Stewie a call on his personal cell phone number. You won't regret it. And no matter what the question is regarding your finances or real estate investments, Stewie's going to take great care of you. I know this firsthand. He did a great job with the purchase of my new home. Can't thank him enough for that. And I want the same for all of you out there. So please call him on his personal cell phone number. That number is 314-324-4440.
Again, that number, 314-324-4440.
Call him, text him day, night. We say it all the time. Doesn't matter. Stewie's there to help you. He's our guy. He needs to be your guy. And if you can't remember that number, Anthony, what can you do?
You can always Google the Bagel Loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Guys.
NMLS number 226715.
Four warriors, four categories, one challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
402, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Jeff. What's up, Jeff?
What's up?
You ready to rock and roll?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
All right. Would you like to take on Marsh, Carey, Jamie, or me in round one?
Let's go CD. Carey Davis.
All right.
Carey Davis. We'll go to silence right now.
He clapped too.
There you go, Jeff. All right, Jeff, you can go ahead and tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marshy.
What are we hoping for, Jeff?
Oh, anything but miscellaneous, I think.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that. Not a big fan of random trivia.
Oh, I think it's fun when it's not me.
Yeah, agreed. Marsh?
Oh, man.
Is it random?
It almost was. It's baseball today.
All right.
The wheel almost crushed all of us there.
All right, Jeff, you feel good about baseball?
Yeah.
At least it's not random.
Yeah, right. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, Jeff, are you out driving around right now?
I'm in a parking lot.
Okay,
All right,
good,
good
because
man.
it's raining out there, and
Want you to be safe.
you're going to be thinking about all these questions. I just want you safe, buddy.
Appreciate it.
All right.
We may act like we're miserable human beings who don't care about people, but it's not the case. We
No,
do. We care
only
about
Anthony's
people.
that way.
Exactly. Jeff, you ready?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Question 1. Walker Buehler, who just closed, out the Dodgers' 8th World Series championship, was actually selected by which other organization in the 14th round of the 2012 amateur draft?
Oh, I know zero about Walker Buehler, so let me get the options.
Sure. Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds, Kansas City Royals.
I feel like I've seen him in a Pirates jersey before, so we'll go Pirates.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
All right, Jeff, question 2. Giancarlo Stanton, better known as Mike, slugged 7 home runs during the 2024 playoffs, but he hasn't posted a 40-homer season since the MVP campaign in 2017. Who was the American League Most Valuable Player that year?
In 2017?
Yes.
Let me get the options again.
All right. Was it Mookie Betts, Jose Altuve, or Josh Donaldson?
Josh Donaldson.
Final?
Final answer.
Thank you.
Question number 3. On June 13th, Lance Lynn passed whom for 6th place on the Cardinals' all-time strikeouts list?
Let's go. I got to take a shot. We'll go Darryl Kyle.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Jeff, last question. In May, impending free agent Juan Soto broke whose record for most career walks before turning 26 years old?
I mean, I want to say Barry Bonds, but I don't think he started getting walked a whole lot until later in his career. Shoot or shoot, right? Barry Bonds. Final answer.
All right.
All righty.
Let's bring back Carey Davis.
Yeah, Carey's in there sipping away at his ayahuasca.
Jeff, how do you feel?
Not good.
All right. We'll see what Carey brings to the table today, especially since he's high as a kite on that Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca juice.
It's fine. It's great for your skin, Carey.
Is it?
Worked out well for him.
That's what they told me.
There you go. Carey, your category today is baseball.
Hey, I love baseball.
Jamie?
Oh, you better pack a lunch, buddy.
All right.
Question 1CD. Walker Buehler, who just closed out the Dodgers' 8th World Series championship, was actually selected by which other organization in the 14th round of the 2012 amateur draft?
Options.
The Pittsburgh Pirates, Cincinnati Reds, Kansas City Royals.
I don't think it's the Reds. I don't think it was the Reds. Royals, final answer.
Question 2. Giancarlo Stanton, better known as Mike, slugged 7 home runs during the 2024 playoffs. but he hasn't posted a 40-homer season since that MVP campaign of 2017. Who was the American League most valuable player that year?
2017?
Yes, sir.
Can you read the question again, sir?
Sure. Giancarlo Stanton slugged 7 home runs during the 2024 playoffs, but he hasn't posted a 40 home run season since the MVP campaign of 2017. Who was the American League most valuable player that year?
2017, you say?
Yes, sir.
Options, please.
Was it Mookie Betts, Jose Altuve, or Josh Donaldson?
Mookie Betts, final answer.
Question number 3. On June 13th, Lance Lynn passed whom for 6th place on the Cardinals' all-time strikeouts list?
Oh. Gosh darn it. I remember seeing that. Don't remember the name. Options.
Options are Chris Carpenter, Bob Tewksbury, or Matt Morris.
I don't think it was Tewksbury. I think it was Matt Morris. Final answer.
Final question, Carey. In May, impending free agent Juan Soto broke whose record for most career walks before turning 26 years old?
Who? I want to say Barry Bonds, but that would be just a guess. He was really good. He's a young player. And Ken Griffey was, too. Oh, options, please.
Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Albert Pujols.
I'm glad I didn't take a shot in the dark. Yo, Babe Ruth, eh? Mickey Mantle or Albert Pujols? 26, you said?
Yep. Before turning 26 years of age.
Let's go Albert Pujols, final answer.
All right. Let's go over these. Let's start right there. In May, impending free agent Juan Soto broke whose record for most career walks before turning 26 years old? We just heard Carey take the options and go with Albert Pujols. Jeff did not take the options. He said shooters shoot. He went Barry Bonds.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Which was not an option. Who was not an option? Correct answer is
none other than Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle.
Come on.
0-0 tie.
Harm, no foul.
Giancarlo Stanton slugged 7 home runs during the 2024 playoffs, but he hasn't posted a 40-homer season since that MVP campaign of 2017. Who was the American League most valuable player that year? Jeff, with the options, you said Josh Donaldson. Carey, with the options, you said Mookie Betts. Correct answer is...
It is Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve won the MVP. Jamie, score check.
0-0.
Thank you. On June 13th, Lance Lynn passed whom for 6th place on the Cardinals' all-time strikeouts list? Jeff, without the options.
That's bad.
Said Darryl Kyle, who was not an option. Rest in peace. Carey Davis went with Matt Morris with the options. Correct answer is...
Matt Morris.
Matt Morris carries on the board. 1-0 lead. One question remaining. Walker Buehler, who just closed out the Dodgers' 8th World Series championship, was actually selected by which other organization in the 14th round of the 2012 amateur draft? Carey, with the options, said the Kansas City Royals. Jeff went with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Correct answer is... It's the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Hey!
Jeff
Walk it off.
is heading to a tiebreaker.
All right.
He used the option, so we get a 1-1 tie.
All right.
Just takes one.
It just takes one. That's right.
It's true.
So this is how it's going to work. Jeff, you're going to hold off on your answer. Carey's going to write down his answer, and then we'll immediately go to you. Closest to the pin wins today. Are we clear?
Carey, you right over there?
Yeah, I'm doing some math in my head.
You're already doing math?
He's already writing numbers down. He hasn't heard the question.
Just trying to prepare, man.
You're just doing math randomly? Okay.
I look over and he's writing.
Cool. Sounds good.
What the hell is
Marshy.
going on here?
Yes. The question, the tie-breaking question is, how many walks did Mickey Mantle have in his 18-year career?
Oh, wow, man.
How many walks did Mickey Mantle have in his 18-year career? Jeff is holding off.
Carey is still scribbling.
Is writing down his answer.
And still scribbling. And still scribbling.
That feels low as all get no. Heck no. That's why I started doing math.
Well, you're still doing it, apparently. Oh, boy.
Can you see that?
Okay.
Yeah, we have an answer from Carey.
Marsh's got it?
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what is your answer?
669.
600.
That's an Anthony Stalter number.
Carey, you wrote down
1,500.
Don't need the calculator for this one. Jeff.
You have chosen poorly.
You give an Anthony Stalter answer, you get an Anthony Stalter outcome.
Correct answer is
1,733.
Yeah, so that math that Carey was doing just randomly.
But by the way, there's no rhyme or reason to how he got to that number. I'm watching the numbers he's writing, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 1,500.
I started thinking about, okay, is it the is it the Matt Morris strikeouts? So that's why I started writing there. And then you hit me with the walk, so I had to do some other math in my brain.
Yeah, but what you did for math doesn't make any sense of how you got to 1,500.
I got to 120. Well, about 120 a year is what I came up with.
And how many years did he play, Carey?
18. And then I subtracted. That's where the 550 came in. Don't you worry about my dang on math.
Evil math over there. I don't know what the hell's going on. You win. Congratulations.
That is insane. That's a lot of walks.
Yeah, that certainly is. Jeff, thanks for playing today, man. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. It's too many walks.
It's too many walks. Yeah, should have finished with about 669. Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
All right, Jeff. We'll see you, buddy.
See you, Jeff.
Bye.
Good job, Jeff.
All right, we'll go right to it. Nice job, Carey. Congratulations.
Carey.
No punishment for Carey. We got to get to Jeremy Rutherford. We'll ask the latest of Philip Broberg and what Drew Bannister plans, if anything, moving forward. Jeremy Rutherford, a Blues Insider with The Athletic, joins us next.
for the Rutherford Report on 101 ESPN.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey? Here we go.
That's right. Time for our chat, our weekly chat with Jeremy Rutherford, who joins us right now via the Thompson and Collier phone lines. JR, rough weekend for the Blues from an injury standpoint. Certainly they get another win against the Maple Leafs and their former head coach, but the Philip Broberg injury is a significant loss. You know, he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. Is there any way to properly evaluate this team and Drew Bannister with two of the key pieces now gone for the foreseeable future?
I think if you split it up, Anthony, I think if you look at it two different ways, from a win-loss perspective, it's going to be tough to evaluate them. It really is. Sure. You're without your number one center, Robert Thomas. We've already seen what kind of impact that's had on the team. And now to be without Philip Broberg, who I think has been their best player all season, definitely tough from a wins and losses. But, you know, I think from a heart perspective, from a development perspective, from looking at these players who have come in the offseason, Doug Armstrong brought them in, and see how they fit into the mix, I think there's still some evaluation that can take place.
JR, practice today, what were some of the updated lines and pairings that you saw?
Yeah, we had, with the defense, we had a situation where, you know, you're just down to who you got, right? So you're looking at P.O. Joseph. He's going to move into that second pair like we saw at the end of the game when Broberg left the other night. He'll be with Justin Falk. Talked to Justin Falk about him today. He said that he likes P.O. He said good stick, good skater, defends well. Obviously, these are going to be bigger minutes for him going up against other teams' top lines, so they're going to need a lot from P.O. Joseph. But they like what they've seen so far, Riv. And then you see Kessel and Prunevich in the third pair. You know, this is going to be a difficult situation moving forward because these guys have kind of been in and out of the lineup, inconsistent, been good at times, seen some hiccups at times, but now they got to come together and play because Nick Leddy still not skating with the team. And we asked Coach Drew Bannister today, what's the latest on Nick Leddy? And he said, well, until I see him on the ice, he's, you know, not necessarily day-to-day because we got to get him practicing with the team again. So they're short defensively now and going to have to play with what they've got. And then up front, I think we're going to see some of those same line combinations we saw against Toronto. The team played really well, 4-2 win. They've got Toronto's number, it looks like it, even though they've struggled here recently. But I think we'll see those same line combinations for the most part against Tampa on Tuesday.
All right, Jared, just a quick follow-up. And we talk about Scott Perunovich. You know, what do you think the Blues coaching staff needs to see from Scott Perunovich?
I think they're going to have to see something that he's got to prove still that he's capable of doing in this league, and that's defend well. You know, we can talk all about his offensive ability and that he had that coming into the NHL and that it hasn't necessarily translated for him up here. But if he's going to play 10, 11 minutes in that third pair with Matt Kessel, he's got to be able to defend. And I think we've seen him struggle with that at times. And, you know, I think the easy way out is to point to the size factor. There's been other guys his size been able to do it in this league. He's still learning how to do it that way. And I think if he can just come in, Riv, and you know this as well as anybody, come in and not be the reason that they cost the game, cost the team the game, just go out there and play to your capability. You and Matt Kessel go out there and try to be as consistent as you can night in and night out. I think that's what they'd like from Scott Perunovich.
JR, we often get questions about how important coaching is and what exactly do they do. Drew Bannister is dealing with a lot of injuries right now. How difficult is this task for him and his staff with all of these injuries and really just trying to get guys to play to the best of their ability so they can stay above water?
Yeah, Carey, it is. This is going to be a lot on the coaching staff as they try to put the best lineup out there. Again, they're down to a certain amount of bodies and you know, names that we've seen all year. So it's not like somebody's coming from the University of Minnesota or not like somebody's coming from Springfield to help this team right now. So they're going to have to get it done with these guys. And, you know, it's going to be tough. Fortunately, you know, you lose Broberg the other night. You still got 4 more games left on this 5-game homestand, so you're home for a while. But moving forward, you know, it's going to be about putting the right pieces in place and making some adjustments, as you guys were talking about earlier, and that's going to fall on the coaching staff. And, you know, I think if you look at this for what it is, the retool, a lot of new players in place this year, and then the injury to Robert Thomas, Nick Leddy, Matthew Joseph. Do you take 6-6 after 12 games? I think you can be okay with that for right now. But this next month, especially the next 4 weeks, because Thomas doesn't get it reevaluated for 4 weeks. Broberg's out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. That's a period of about 13, 15 games. This can make the difference on whether the Blues are there at the deadline in terms of being a playoff contender or not. If they can keep themselves afloat during these 4 weeks and then get those two guys back, they put themselves in decent position. So that's why the emphasis on this next month.
Jared, why do you think the Blues have played so well against the Maple Leafs, but sandwiched in between those two wins were they weren't really competitive games against opponents that they could handle?
Yeah, it's hard to put a finger on it. And I tried to ask a couple players that the other night, Jordan Binnington being one of them, and no specific reason given for it. I think the timing. I think you go up to Toronto, they all get excited to play there. There's a number of players from that Toronto area, especially Jordan Binnington. He played well that night. Obviously you had the Berube reunion. You want to show well against your old coach, and that works both ways with Toronto trying to beat the Blues for the same reason. And then you kind of had a lull there. And you had the Matthew Joseph injury. I think he's been a spark plug for this team, and so it's been tough to play without him for a few games there. Then you come home after that long road trip, and who's back? Here's Craig Berube coming home. And, what I thought was interesting is a couple of those players said that when they played that Berube tribute after that first TV timeout, they got as much of a jolt from it. The players did. Just some of them, like a Colton Parayko, Jordan Binnington, from remembering those days. So it kind of got the juices flowing. But nonetheless, you lose Broberg. Everybody stepped up. Ryan Suter, Colton Parayko especially, really played a good game the other night, and they get back on the winning track. But, you try to sit there and list reasons why so good against Toronto. It's hard to come up with specifics, except for they just play that team well here the past couple weeks.
JR, where on your bingo card did you have Pavel Buchnevich beating the wheels off somebody from the Maple Leafs?
Yeah, I had to double check. I'm always looking at the numbers, looking at the roster. Okay, who is that Shen just fought? Okay, that's McCabe. Then you see the fight later on in the game, and you looked at, wait a minute, that's 89. That's Pavel Buchnevich. So that was way down on the bingo card. And, as soon as I asked Jordan Kyrou about that fight after the game, he's like, whoa, I was standing right there. I couldn't believe it. So Pavel Buchnevich really showing well in that fight. And I don't think, like you say with Braden Chen, I don't think the Blues need Pavel Buchnevich dropping the gloves and fighting in any situation. But I will say this, and Drew Bannister talked about it after the game. This team, if it's going to be successful, it has to come together and play for each other. And I felt like in that Toronto game, we saw that as much as we have in the past couple of years. Guys really stepping up and coming together, doing what it takes. Braden Chen getting it going, but then everybody else at every corner in that game was there to help another guy.
JR, last one I've got for you is, how huge was it for the Blues to, one, you lose Broberg. That was a terrible moment in the game, and you think to yourself, oh boy, where's this team going to go now? One of their best players so far this season, if not the best player all around, goes down with an injury. But what did you make of almost instantaneously, Colton Parayko decides that, here, hold my beer, I'm here to play now, and scores 2 goals?
Yeah, that second one, Riv. So every once in a while, every 20, 25 games, you'll see him unleash that shot. He scores. But to see the second one, it's like, oh, Colton, that's what people have been wanting to see. I remember when Larry Robinson left the organization, I called Larry, super blessed to be able to talk to him about what he had seen with the Blues in the previous few years. And that's the one thing with Colton Parayko. We said, why don't we see that shot more often? And he said, Jeremy, believe me, we've been talking to him about it for a couple of years now. So whatever reason, that night it really came to him, and he had a couple blisters, shots, and scores on those. But I'll tell you, in the locker room, post-game, just like Robert Thomas the past couple of years, Colton Parayko's kind of the same way. When the reporters, it wasn't me, but another reporter brought up, that positive reinforcement, when you score on those types of shots, does that kind of give you the support in your mind to go out and do that again? And they just kind of shake it off. They kind of get tired of talking about that topic of being able to shoot more, but it's true. This is a thing that, same with Robert Thomas. What happened when he started shooting the puck more? Better shot that he developed with Adam Oates, putting it in the back of the net. We saw that with Colton Parayko. The Blues are going to need it, especially with Broberg out. Hopefully Colton realizes that, and he can show us some more of that coming this next month or so.
JR, we hope that it's sustainable. I was going to ask you about the Matthew Joseph injury. Do we know any timeline on that one? I know you said Letty is still not skating. Do we know when Matthew Joseph will be back on the ice?
Yeah, and this is a big issue. I mean, this is a player that was really playing well for the Blues. So the sooner they can get him back, the better. We know it's lower body. He was seen in a boot. He went into the boards awkwardly. Is it an ankle? Is it a high ankle? They were hoping that when he flew back to St. Louis for further evaluation, they'd know a little bit more about the situation, get him on the ice, at a relatively quick time. But that has not been the case. The couple times I've seen him, it's been standing outside the rink watching practice. So when Drew Bannister was asked that question today, Carey, he said nothing really changed in the status until he sees Letty and or Matthew Joseph out there. All you can do is say that they're day-to-day.
All right, JR, we appreciate it. Hey, talking about the injuries and stuff like that, but unfortunately it's just part of the Blues start to the season here. But we appreciate you, and we will check back with you next Monday.
Yep, sounds good, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. That's Jeremy Rutherford, a Blues Insider with The Athletic here on 101 ESPN. We got part one of our two-part Sports Six-Pack, 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service text line. If you have any question for us, send it there. We'll answer it next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you're a business or a contractor that needs recycling, then my good friends at Scrap Mart Metals are for you. They are tailor-made to meet your business and your schedule and your budget. They understand the job site cleanup for contractors is a mess. If you set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal, it'll be one less thing you have to do during cleanup. You'd be amazed at how the scrap metals add up and how it can truly help your business's cash flow. Or even if you just have things around the house that you need to get rid of, Scrap Mart will come and get it out of your way. They'll haul your equipment. You have that heavy equipment, it breaks down over and over again. They'll haul your equipment to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you can haul it yourself to one of their 3 convenient locations, Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. Copper wire, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, batteries, electric motors, steel, cast iron, much more, so much more. It is recycling made easy. They offer a convenient drive-on scale, and they have the highest payout. You will always get top dollar for your scrap metal. So just visit them at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting up a business account to get you rolling. That's scrapmartmetals.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. You just heard Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic, talking about Philip Broberg as he will be out for 4 to 6 weeks after he was injured in Saturday night's game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. That's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Blues did pick up a win on Saturday against the Maple Leafs, 4-2. They'll take on the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Tonight, you can listen to Monday Night Football as the Chiefs take on the Bucks. Pregame starts at 6:30. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
All right, time for our Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter. Question 1, please.
Question number 1.
From the 636, I'm excited to see DeAndre Hopkins play with the Chiefs again tonight. With that being said, do you think he has a chance to land a long-term role with the Chiefs team? Or is he just a rental until next year when they get Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice back?
I think it's a rental.
I think it's probably a rental, but... he could absolutely.
How can they afford him past this year?
Yeah, I mean, he might wind up being, he's somebody that played for the Texans, had a lot of success, and then went to Arizona and didn't have any success. Winds up in Tennessee, no success. He might, at this point in his career, he may say, "Hey, give me a 1-year deal. I'll accept maybe not a veteran minimum, but I'll take a decent contract."
What is a veteran minimum?
500 and...
No, I think it's 700 now.
700, 750?
That's it? You think he's signing that deal?
No, I don't. But maybe he signs like a 1-year, $3 million deal or something.
It might make a difference, too, that he's playing on a winning team.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Like the last 2 teams he's played on were not good. And you got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. You sign a 1-year deal, and let's say you light it up. Mm-hmm. Who knows what happens the rest of this year?
Yeah.
He might light it up the rest of this year and all of a sudden be able to command something again on the open market. Yeah. But he might also opt to, keep winning and having fun in Kansas City.
Definitely. And the Chiefs could use somebody like Hopkins. Mm-hmm. They've got, McCole Hardman, and I know he's hurt now, but Sky Moore, and they had Kadarius Toney. They had like the same guy. Yeah,
but Hopkins can catch.
Hopkins, yeah, exactly. They could use a possession receiver, somebody that runs impeccable routes, somebody that complements Travis Kelce well on the other side. I think Hopkins is a great fit for them.
I think they had that guy.
Who's that?
MVS.
Oh boy.
Oh jeez.
I think he would be a great fit as like a third receiver at this point in his career. He'll be 33 years old next year. If he does well this year, they make a playoff run, and those guys come back healthy later this year or the start of next year. You got 2 guys that can stretch the field, and then DeAndre Hopkins, who catches, I think he wears like 4X gloves. Like he has one of the largest hands. He can catch the ball.
Big hands, Anthony. What that means?
Yeah, you can catch the ball.
Oh, big gloves.
What are you talking about? Big gloves.
You can catch the ball.
Big gloves. Mm-hmm. We know that.
You're kind of right.
Not always.
Question number 2.
Thanks, Carey.
well aware.
That was just a passing shot for no reason.
Seriously.
I was already bleeding. Actually, I didn't even realize I was bleeding. It was just like, where's all this? Who's bleeding? Oh, it's me.
Not always. Sorry.
It's all right.
We sort of talked about this last week, but from the 618, was Broberg a top candidate for the Norris Trophy before he got injured?
Yes.
Yes.
Even though Jamie doesn't believe, and he'll tell you why in a second, Carey and I say yes.
Exactly.
You're right. Guys, he was the favorite for sure.
There you go.
Kale McCarr sucks.
Yeah. Nothing
What's
like
that guy
Broberg.
done?
He's never ever done in his career.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that he would have, if he continued on the same path of, getting almost a point a game and playing, over 20 minutes and shutting down the opposition, then you have no choice but to look at it and say, holy crap, this guy's an elite player. But again, I think it's like people wait. Can he do it next year? Can he do it
again?
But he's definitely, if he comes back from this injury and plays the same way, then you can't turn a blind eye to it. You have to look at how good he plays and how effortless it looks for him. Yeah. And he's definitely got to be in the category of players that you watch on Norris Trophy watch over the next handful of years.
Imagine getting rid of that guy.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, there we go.
They didn't have a choice.
Imagine getting rid of any defenseman that is elite.
Oh, jeez.
They didn't have a choice. You have the money.
They could have made it work.
Man, they got a couple guys they had to pay.
They could have made it work.
A little bit more important.
If they were maybe a little more flexible
in
with
their eyes.
Nah, I don't think
their thought process.
You can find a Connor McDavid anywhere, huh? Leon Draisaitl, those guys are growing on trees out back.
Yep.
They'll get us one.
It's like number one defenseman. They're growing on trees everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, they have Darnell Nurse. They're fine.
Question number 3.
Good.
This next one comes from the Water Boy. If Indiana somehow wins out and beats Oregon for the Big Ten championship, will they be the front runner to win the whole thing?
If they beat Indiana, if Indiana beats Oregon in the Big Ten championship, yeah. I mean, they
nobody's talking about Indiana.
Nobody. And they're beating people by 30, 40 points.
I'm hopping on the bandwagon.
Are beating everybody. They are scoring 30-plus points a game. Michigan State had them down 10-0 in the first quarter. And you're like, here we go.
And there you go.
Oh, God, it's 41-10. They are a wagon.
Their challenge will come in a couple of weeks. They play at Ohio State.
There you go.
And so we'll have that's their first, honestly, their first real test.
Mm-hmm.
Like they haven't played a ranked team yet. Nebraska was ranked at one point. They're not now. Michigan was. They're not now. They got Michigan next week. So the next couple of weeks will be, I think Michigan will be fine. But the Ohio State game in 3 weeks will be the challenge that they have to overcome to really show that they are who they have been showing that they are so far this season.
Guys, do we really see a possibility of Indiana, BYU, and Boise State in the playoff?
Hell yes.
Yes, that's awesome.
Boise State.
I'm looking at this list and I'm like,
I'm in.
Sign me up with Boise State.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Sign me up with Boise
But
State.
they've got the running back, right?
Ashton Genty.
But I look at BYU and I'm like,
to win.
why are you in here?
Look at you sick Mormons.
Who hasn't told you don't belong?
They beat the hell out of Kansas State a couple of weeks, like a month ago. It was bad.
Their head coach is awesome. Kurt Cignetti, I believe that's his name. Somebody asked him, like, how are you guys, like, I don't know what it was verbatim.
How are you guys good?
How are you guys good? He's like, Google me.
Yeah. I went everywhere.
So I did. I went and Googled the guy, and he's basically the reason why James Madison is now an FBS school.
Right.
Like, this guy has a pretty good track record, and I believe he was on the original Alabama coaching staff when Nick Saban came in.
Nice.
Like, this guy is pretty damn good at his job.
They have a chance to go undefeated. They've got Utah, Kansas, Arizona State, and Houston.
You're talking about BYU.
BYU, yeah.
Yeah.
Like all winnable games.
Right.
BYU's going to be undefeated.
You know what we should do?
I was talking about Indiana.
I know you were talking about Indiana. Cignetti is the coach.
I was
of Indiana.
still fixated on
BYU. You guys. Well, but you know what would be fun?
We crossed the streams, Marshy, is what we did.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the
Ghostbusters never cross the streams.
Like the streams where the two ships are going right by each other.
Either way, don't cross the streams.
Don't cross streams.
It's very good advice in all walks of life.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyways, you know what would be fun when the playoff rankings come out and we know who the playoff teams are? The four of us should choose our horse.
Pick
But
one.
it can't be like Ohio State or...
Well, then we're not choosing our horse. We're being told what to pick.
No, it should be something fun. Like maybe
Don't
you
tell
hop
them
on
what
the
to do.
the BYU train.
Here you guys again, trying to tell us what to do, Carey.
Oh, you know what? Forget it. All right.
How about we can pick a team that's not in the
Forget
top 5?
Nah, just pick whatever damn team you want.
Okay, fine.
Just trying to have a little fun here.
Well, you gotta explain your fun.
BYU,
I
hop
call
on the
Oregon.
Cougars.
I would do that. Absolutely. Good call, Anthony.
That's what I thought. You could hop on the
All of a
Broncos.
sudden, I like your game.
Thank you.
I'll hop on the Broncos. Boise State Broncos.
There you go.
BYU in the playoffs.
I'm just
The
saying.
314
You know, it'd be fun.
314 says, soak it up, gentlemen. You're never going to see this again.
How appropriate.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you just never see these teams. They're just never in the mix,
I know. Yeah.
So we want them in the mix.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure. Yep. Okay, should we go to part 2?
I think we should.
Let's go to part 2. Part 2.
Hot Shots Part 2.
Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I know you were. I've been with you too long,
Not
Anthony.
a bad movie.
Not bad. For your $1, not bad.
No, not at all. All right. The second Sports Six-Pack next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, have you felt like you've lost your edge before?
Well, not in a while, but I did once upon a time, Jamie.
I know, and I hated that for you, and I hated that for me. I felt the same way. I felt sluggish, run down.
Irritable.
Oh, you were really irritable.
I apologize,
remember.
man.
Yeah, it's okay. I get it. I was there too. We don't have to be anymore. We went and saw our friends over at Mentality, explained these things we were feeling, and they say, hey, guys, it's probably low testosterone.
Yeah.
It happens to all men at some point in their life. Don't worry about it. Sat us down, talked us through it too. Thank you very much for doing it.
Well, originally we said go fast lane yourself.
Yeah, that was a little bit much.
But that also
But they
proves
understood.
what we're,
They're like, exactly. So then they do the blood panel and find out, hey, guys, look, we were telling you about low testosterone. Here you go. You're also deficient in a couple other vitamins here. This is why you're not feeling good. So for me, Anthony, I'm very thankful for our friends over at Mentality.
Yeah, certainly. The energy level high. I love going, like yesterday, Killian had 2 birthday parties to go to, soccer games. We're running all around. Felt great at the end of the night. Ready to go, finish out the rest of the day.
You wanted more.
I wanted more. Mentality, they offer you more. 2 locations, in fact. They got one in Chesterfield. That's one Jamie frequents. There's one in South County. It's one I usually go to. Program is great. It's safe. They monitor everything for you. They draw your blood every 10 weeks or so. Make sure nothing else is going on. They ask you constantly, hey, how's the program working for you? You can tell them, hey, you know what? I feel feeling a little dip a little bit. Okay, no problem. We'll up you. Jamie and I, we've gone up a little bit with the program. They're fantastic at Mentality. Let them show you, just like they showed Jamie and I, that the program works great. And you can find them online as well. lowtusa.com. Again, lowtusa.com. It's Mentality.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
All right. Time for part 2 of the Sports Six Pack now on 101 ESPN. Marsh, go.
Question number 4.
From the 636, Jamie, I was at the game Saturday, and Carey again killed a rush, turning it over rather than dumping it in and going to get it. And another where he had a one-timer wide open, but he one-touch passed it to the point, nobody home, because they changed, so it was a turnover. Everyone yelled in the stands. What is going on in the locker room when he continuously keeps making plays that hurt the team?
Well, it goes back to kind of what I said earlier. Everybody's making their mistakes out there. Just some guys, it's more visible, and sometimes we're looking closer at certain players. Because if you look at the game and you watch someone like Colton Parayko, and he makes a mistake, maybe you're not noticing. Why? Because you're not expecting him to make a mistake, or you're not isolating him. Jordan Kyrou makes mistakes. There's no doubt about it. But all creative hockey players make mistakes. And I'm not comparing Jordan Kyrou to Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, and things like that. Let's just take any young forward that's offensive-minded. How do you think highlight reel plays happen? Because they take chances or they make plays that ordinary players don't make.
Like jumping over somebody backwards.
Yeah, like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
So in order to have a certain level of success when it comes to being offensively gifted, you make plays that maybe you shouldn't. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Now, that being said, there is a time and a place to try those types of plays. When you're up by a couple of goals or you're down by a couple of goals, you're trying to create something, fine. In a one-goal game or even to start the game, your team's lost 2 or 3 in a row. You want to try and create some momentum. It's easy. It's better to keep the game simple. And I'll tell you what, guys, like the Blues coaching staff and Jordan's teammates are all working alongside him. Nobody sits there and shames him. Like, he has certain abilities that 80% of the team don't have. Mm-hmm. So you're going to need this player to be a positive impact on the game. And by just kicking him when he's down all the time, that's not how you get the best out of the player. It doesn't matter what you think of what you're watching. Hey, another turnover. I'm bad. In order to maximize Jordan Kyrou, you have to continue to coach him, work with him, and build him up to a certain point. He does have to identify certain parts of the game that can be simplified, certain times of the game where he can simplify his game. But it's always a work in progress. With offensively gifted players like that, it's always a work in progress. And, some people may not agree with me. I have seen it trending in the right direction. So the volume of turnovers and the volume of defensive miscues are not what they were a year ago. Is he still committing those errors? Yes, but not at the same rate that he was committing them last year, which means there is some progress there.
Question number 5.
We were talking about the college football playoff, and Anthony, you came up with a great idea.
Thank you.
It's a great idea.
Nobody loved.
Well,
I loved it.
I liked it. I just didn't understand.
Thanks, Carey.
You said we could pick whoever we want, except for certain teams. So that's not really picking whoever you want. You should word it different. That's all. You're fine.
I said pick the horse.
Yeah, the dark horse.
Yeah, pick the dark horse. Yeah, I just didn't want to say.
Look at me when I
just didn't want to say dark horse.
No reason.
I just want to say pick a horse.
The black shirt on.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
It is dark in here.
Just pick a horse. They're all horses. They're all
not one.
They're
of the,
all great.
Not one of the teams.
Yeah,
that
they just
have
don't pick
a
the good
bye.
horse.
Yes.
Pick one of the 5 through 12.
But then
is
you're
what
not really
saying.
picking your horse. You're picking the horse you're letting me pick.
I'm not letting you pick.
He's not.
Look,
he's not. Okay. He's telling you
Jay,
that it
first
would
of
be
all-
fair if you picked 5 through 12.
So, Carey, hang on. Let me do this a different way.
And fun.
Hey, Carey, you can
and more fun. There you go, Marshy.
pick whatever horse you want, Carey. Pick your
Except
horse.
for the first 4.
Except you can't pick the good horses.
Well,
are you
make
allowed
it fair.
Are you allowed to pick the horse that you want now?
Yeah.
No, but you're not. You're allowed to pick the horse that I left you.
Willie from the Snake Pit says, he goes, I like Anthony's idea. Just remove the blue chip programs. Exactly.
That's what I said. But then you can't say pick whatever horse you want. You have to pick the horse that you're allowed to pick.
Pick the horses that are available.
Yes.
5 through 12.
There you go. That was a better way to word it. Thank you, Carey.
There you go.
Gold star.
Yep. Star of the day.
The idea was fine. The way you worded it was flawed.
You're like that company that doesn't make the products.
BASF.
You just make the products that we all love better. You get the credit.
You guys ready for the question?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Where are we? Do you guys think that the college football playoff will mirror the AP top 25? What we're seeing out of the poll?
Like the chaos and everything like that?
Just no, do you think it'll be verbatim, or do you think it'll look a little different, and if so, why?
It has to, because it's based off of the top 4 SEC, Big 12, Big 10, ACC will be in those 4 spots. It'll be the top 4. Right. And then it will, so you'll have a team, I forget who I was listening to a couple of weeks ago. You have a team that might be 15th, but might be 11th in the rankings, in the college football playoff rankings. So where you are in the AP top 25 is not necessarily where you will be in the college football playoff rankings when they come out tomorrow.
So, CD, let me ask you a question. Indiana's sitting there right now, undefeated, yet they haven't played one ranked team all year. They will play Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And let's say they lose to Ohio State.
It's probably a wrap.
Do you think they're done then?
I mean, because you're going to have teams. I think so, because of, if you're basing it off of the strength of schedule, the teams that they have played now, that will be a loss later in the season. And then I still don't know how the Big Ten championship is going to work out. So that will be intriguing to see how that matches up, which 2 teams are in that. But I am interested to see what tomorrow looks like when these rankings come out. Who is where, and what numbers they're slotted in. Because, like I said, the way. So, like, Ohio State is number 3 in the AP poll. They won't be number 3 in the rankings tomorrow because because of Oregon, they'll have to be one of the top 4 teams in that ranking. One of the top conference leading teams in that ranking. So it'll probably be Miami, Georgia, Oregon, and. What am I missing from the Big 10? Big 12?
Probably BYU.
BYU, yeah.
But I guess my question is, do we really believe that Indiana and BYU are better football teams than like Alabama and Ole Miss?
Doesn't matter.
I know, but that's where it's flawed to me.
Because the Power 4 conferences, if you win your championship, you get one of the.
Yeah.
You get one of the 4
I understand
spots.
it. I'm just looking at it from a practical standpoint of, like, when they do create this playoff, and Alabama with 2 losses right now, potentially 3. If you're betting on a game, Alabama versus BYU, you'd probably take Alabama.
Well, they should have beat Vandy.
They should have beat Vandy.
Don't blame you, Anthony.
There's going to be a lot of teams
All
tomorrow.
in on those Cougars.
They're going to be asking, where are we in the rankings?
Exactly.
And they're going to be out of it.
Watching. Outside looking in.
That's right. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. I don't know if we finished this Sports Six-Pack, but
no, we didn't.
That's like us. We're going to get to Janie's game notes from the NFL. Week 9 game notes.
God.
Jamie Rivers next on 101 ESPN. My wife, Kristen, and I were chatting over the weekend about certain events that are coming up, whether you got Thanksgiving or, the holidays or Christmas. And one of the things we were discussing is maybe going to the Missouri Athletic Club for Christmas Eve this year. They've got a dinner that goes on, and whether it's Christmas or Easter, Easter brunch or, Mother's Day or Father's Day, the MAC always has something going on. In fact, they just said the trunk or treat was great. The Missouri Athletic Club puts on events all the time, especially the West Clubhouse, for families. So it's more than just me going to the gym or using a business center, networking and all this stuff. They've got stuff to go on for the family too. So when you got something big on the horizon, you say, hey, let's check out the Missouri Athletic Club first, see what they have going on. Love being a club member. That's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. I missed it a little bit. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony
that's what
Stalter.
happened last time.
That's what happened last time. It's a longer drop. Like, I've got that let's get nasty timed out perfectly. Because I feel it within my bones.
So you're blaming Marshy?
No. I'm blaming myself for not having the timing down.
I kind of heard it throw the other way.
No, it's fine. I'll leave.
Boy, Jamie, you have been a pissant today, haven't you? You just come in here. You're throwing stuff all over the place. Thank you, Carey. It's actually most days. Except for that one day.
What the hell?
I'm just sniping from.
Yeah, you are. Carey's been sitting in the bushes all day just sniping.
He's like a camper.
Seriously.
In Call of Duty.
Why are you pointing at me?
Or
right
Fortnite, just hiding in a bush.
Except for that one day when you went to the lake and then came back, but you didn't really come back. Himself. You just stood there.
He stood here for 4 hours and didn't say a word.
Lights on, nobody home.
I'm sure I said something.
His mouth was moving
during the segments and then went back.
Yeah.
I do remember that. I do remember about an hour in.
We saw like the AI version of Jamie, where he like spit out just generic stuff and then.
I do remember feeling like, man, this has been a long show. Looking down and we're an hour in. I was like, oh, man. I don't think I've got it today.
You made it, though.
I did. I got through it.
All right. Speaking of Jamie Rivers, he's got his Week 9 NFL notes.
All right. So first thing I've got for my notes is the Buffalo Bills. Did they finally prove themselves against the Dolphins? Like, did they finally prove that they're an elite team? Because the Dolphins were back to their regular roster, that Tua under center, and it was a big game. And we talked about going into the weekend. I said, okay, we're going to find out what the Dolphins are, or we'll find out what the Bills are. For you guys, did the Bills finally prove to you, Carey in particular, because my God, you hate the Bills. Did they finally prove something to you?
They proved that they can beat a 2-6 Dolphin team at home.
Oh, remember the Dolphins? He had them winning the
a late field goal. They had to take a drive down and score.
Benefited from a penalty, too.
Yeah. Dumb penalty. 3rd and 14. You jump off sides, make it 3rd and 9. Oh, makes life a little easier. I'm going to hold off on the Bills hype train. Give me another couple weeks. I'll let you know.
Wait till they're 10-2. Then we'll have it.
And then I can tell you,
yeah.
And then he'll say.
Then he'll be on board.
They got the Rams.
Oh, they're the best.
They got the next 4 weeks. They got the Rams, the Raiders, the Patriots, and the Packers.
A couple of tough games there.
Rams and the Packers are no good. I'm looking at the Dolphins.
Can't even get his story straight. Anthony, how about you?
Sorry, Colts, Chiefs, 49ers, Rams. So
they got a couple.
I will know in a month. All right, December 1st, I'll tell you.
Miami has gone up to Buffalo the last couple of years. Even when they had Skylar Thompson in that one playoff game, they hung with Buffalo. There's something with Mike McDaniel against Sean McDermott where I know the Bills roughed them up in week 2, but Tua got hurt in the second half. I think Miami gives Buffalo kind of some issues, but Buffalo to me looks like a team that's more equipped to go on the road and win physical games, playoffs, host a game, be physical, run the ball effectively. So to me, I'm not like Carey where they've got to prove it each and every week. I think the Bills are the 3rd best team in the AFC, and they have been the 3rd best team in the AFC.
Right.
KC, Baltimore, Buffalo.
All right, my second one here is the Washington Commanders. Guys, I know it's crazy, and maybe it's just being a prisoner of the moment, but the moment's been all season so far. But are they a legitimate NFC contender? I don't think anybody's going to really steamroll the Lions, but do you see an NFC championship that has the Commanders against the Lions possibly? And if so, or if not, what can they add at the deadline that makes them that?
I think they could use a pass rusher. Unfortunately, every team can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Washington's going to give teams trouble. Let's just fast forward to the playoffs. You want to face Jaden Daniels trying to get off the field as a third, on third down as a defense when he can run around and hurt you? Terry McLaurin's red hot. you've got a couple of different weapons. Or Brian Robinson didn't play yesterday, and Austin Eckler stepped right up, and he was effective. He got into the end zone. I think Washington is the team like you don't want to face in the first round, just like Houston a year ago when they hosted Indianapolis. They were an underdog in that game. You're like, really? Because Houston's pretty dangerous. Yeah. But then the following year, it's like, yeah, they played Baltimore. You're not there yet. I think Washington is that team. I think Washington is winning a first-round matchup, and then the following week when they have to face maybe a division winner or a team that had a bye the previous week, then I think you're in trouble. But I'll take them that far.
Yeah.
I think
just
they're
wondering,
dangerous.
like, at what point do we really think that they're capable of something?
I think right now.
Okay.
I think they're capable of winning a playoff game. I do.
Carey?
Yeah. I mean, right now, the NFC is not great. So right now,
Eagles in the NFC, Carey. So
yeah, I know. That's why I said the NFC. They got the Eagles in a couple. They got a couple games against the Eagles still left to play, so we'll have a better idea. But
do you want to play this out
with the Commanders?
Yeah.
In terms of that's what I'm thinking. They might finish second or third in the NFC, possibly.
Right now, they're second behind Detroit. So Detroit would get a bye. Washington would host Green Bay in this scenario. Tampa's also knocking on the door. And Philadelphia at any point could lose a game. Multiple games. Could you see Philadelphia going into Washington and Washington beating them? I could. I could see Green Bay having issues. And I like Green Bay, but they haven't looked as crisp. Certainly not yesterday. I could see Washington hosting a playoff game and winning.
All right, my last one here, Marshy. Sorry about this.
What?
But like, are we starting to see that the Vikings might be a little bit of smoke and mirrors?
Oh, no.
And the reason I ask that is they couldn't score in the red zone to save their life.
Sam Darnold, I think, bet against the Vikings last night.
And that leads me to my next point.
At least in the first half.
Is Sam Darnold starting to look like we've seen before?
Oh, man, Sam.
Oh, man.
Like, it's not pretty when you're head coach going into halftime. It's like, yeah, we got to figure out something here in the red zone. Like, yeah, you're getting the ball down the field, but when it counts, he's not doing anything.
That interception he threw was terrible.
Both quarterbacks were terrible yesterday. Joe Flacco, Hall of Fame. Jamie, you just hush.
This guy's 93 years old.
Oh, now he's too old.
He's not too old. He's doing the best he can, Carey.
Yeah, if that's the best he can do, he should do it from the sideline and watch.
Apparently, he's better than the youngster.
He couldn't have been. Not yesterday. That was bad.
Yeah, but back to the
Sam
main question.
Sam Darnold he didn't look great yesterday.
It's been a couple weeks. He hasn't looked good.
Well,
Marshy, what's your worried level at?
See, it's tough because my expectations, like, I'm trying to go back to like where they were at the beginning of the season. Like, no one thought this team was going to be 6-2.
Is that like the kiss of death?
Games? What do you mean? Is that the kiss of death?
Like, because they played so well to start the season, now everybody's like, man, that team's a wagon, but they're really not. Like smoke and mirrors.
I mean, yeah, I think they have a hint of smoke and mirrors, and I think it's because of Sam Darnold's play. I thought the defense looked better than it did the previous couple of weeks, but granted, they played against the Colts. Like, the Colts are the Colts. Like, they're not a great team.
In a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
For like the first couple drives.
The first drive was good, and then Jonathan Taylor put the ball on the ground. Like, they were running right at them.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Taylor put the ball on the ground. It's like, okay.
Like, they didn't give them
that was a bad omen.
They didn't score a touchdown, though. So, like, I'm not going to criticize the defense when they didn't give up any points.
Right.
Yeah, 3 points.
Give up, yeah.
And they could have easily flagged what's-his-face for punching Sam Darnold in the face.
That's two weeks in a row.
Oh, my God.
2 weeks in a row.
I was fine. Carey, I was fine with it. I'm just saying.
It's football, man.
I know. I'm just saying.
Last week was a face mask.
Play.
I don't know that it mattered, but it was a face mask. He got it.
He punched him in the face.
When did he ever get face masked?
He tackled him.
In the face. That's a penalty. If we're going by the rule book, that's a penalty.
That was more egregious than yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the one against the Rams.
The Rams trying to rip his face off.
That was obvious.
That was bad.
Well, obviously,
last night
it wasn't obvious.
Okay.
I mean, clearly they didn't see
the referee standing 20 feet away didn't call it.
I don't think yesterday. It's football, man. People get hit.
So I just think that right now I'm happy with where they're at. They're not going to win the division. I never expected them to win the division. The Lions are the best team in the NFL right now. if they make the playoffs, I'm happy because they didn't last year. And my teams that are from St. Louis can't find a way in the playoffs, at least these past few years. So I'm happy if they just make the playoffs.
They took a shot too. See, everybody's Monday. Nobody's safe.
Losing Cardinals from.
What's that?
Oh, God. Something bad, man.
Roman Berkey.
Courtesy of Andrew Marsh.
Strays everywhere.
Am I saying anything wrong?
No,
they
you're
haven't made the damn playoffs. So
absolutely
my happipiness is now rooted in Minnesota.
That's fair.
In the Vikings. I don't care about the Wild or the Timberwolves.
Hey, it's all good.
Who else? What other teams do they have?
Twins.
The Twins.
Minnesota
I don't care about the Twins. I don't even care about the
Curry
Lynx.
bucket.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. You made a lot of money off that. You know,
I didn't make any money off of that. We don't even play for actual money.
Well, you could have.
You could have played your own plays,
Because
Marsh.
that works out well.
I think.
It doesn't.
The replacement for Christian Darrisaw, huge. Bringing in
Cam Robinson.
from the Jags. I thought he played really well last night. So that gives me hope. We'll see how it plays out. Just make the damn playoffs. I don't care. Just get in, right? Like, that's what everyone loves. Just get in.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Another shot.
What are you talking about? Who's shooting at the extended?
All right. Speaking of the Cardinals, hey, can a youth reset? Can it be fun? Huh? Youth movement?
Yeah.
It can be fun, right, guys?
Yeah. Watching the young guys play.
Yeah. Especially when you don't have a choice. That's next on 101 ESPN. Can a youth movement, can it still be fun? That's kind of where we're at right now with the Cardinals. Now, some people may hear this and say, the Cardinals need to be spending X amount of money, or else they're not trying. However, if we compare the two situations, knowing that the Cardinals are never going to spend the amount of money it's going to take to be on the same level as the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Yankees, is this the next best route? I'm okay with them completely diving into a full, youth movement, development, all that. Because first and foremost, it's not going to be just playing the youngsters. You will have some veteran guys. Like Brendan Donovan is not what I would consider a youngster. He's somebody that's younger, but he's been in the league now for a couple of years. I'm okay with the youth movement, Carey, if it means that they're not constantly going for those mid-range free agent options, trying to disguise them as top guys for the fan base. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, hey, look how active we are in free agency. No, you signed a bunch of mid-tier guys, and you're going to get a lot of mid-tier performances, and then you're going to block the young guys, and you're not going to be able to properly evaluate those guys, and then they're going to wind up going someplace else and succeeding. Like, I'm tired of watching that. I would rather watch them commit to full player development, bank some of that money, and then use it to re-sign guys like Masyn, Winn, or anybody that pops off. Or use that money for the right free agent that comes along and say, hey, we're going to make a big commitment here. This guy's like Bryce Harper when he was, he's kind of a unicorn situation, but when Bryce Harper became a free agent, like just throwing a buttload of money at somebody like that.
Right.
When the time is right, as opposed to saying, we're going to sprinkle in a lot of these $75 to $90 million contracts on guys that quite frankly aren't worth it.
So I don't have a problem with the youth movement. I think, and when you're talking about the youth movement, you're basically talking about guys that are 3 years, 4 years or younger, right? Guys that are not.
Yeah, I'm talking about Masyn Winn, Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman.
Yeah.
The pitchers, slice pitchers we haven't seen yet.
I think that's what is needed. I think they could have done this last year.
Yeah.
I think you could have done, and this is just my opinion, I think you could have done without bringing in the veterans that they needed, the Brandon Crawfords and the Matt Carpenter and Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn. I think you could have gone.
I still think Kyle Gibson was fine.
I think Kyle Gibson was fine as well, but I don't think you needed to bring him in to get the results that you got in the long run. I think you could have gotten those results, and maybe you finish and you win 80 games. Maybe you win 78 games. Not big of a difference if you're still not in the playoffs. But what you did gain was a year of experience for those guys that are now for me, they're a year behind, but I think it is time for this youth movement to take place. I think it's been time for it to take place. You have the younger players that have a higher ceiling than some of the players that you were talking about being brought in.
Yes.
That didn't have as high of a ceiling, but you knew it was comfortable. You knew what you were going to get. So instead of going in an opposite direction, we're going to stay in our comfort level, in our spending comfort level, and get guys that we know are going to do this. Well, what is this? Just this. We'll get. But what about these younger guys? Well, I don't know what they bring. So now you get to see what they are and see who they are and what they have to bring to this roster and to this team.
Yeah, and I stand by the fact that I think the Cardinals won't be any worse off than they were last year. Yeah, I just fell over. I went to plant my foot and kind of missed, and then I kind of rolled it into a little two-step, played it off like nothing happened.
Carey caught you.
Apparently, I didn't do it well enough.
Completely exposed you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not completely, but almost.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to what I was saying before I tipped over. And no, I'm not into Carey's ayahuasca. Not yet. He won't share. But I said it last year. Your team last year, had you done the exact same thing, would have been probably the exact same. I think Goldie picked it up at the end a little bit, and Nolan Arenado was fine. But they weren't difference makers. If they were, you probably would have made the playoffs.
Right.
Because that's what they were supposed to be to start. These difference makers. They weren't. So I don't know if this painful, this rebuild, retool, youth, I don't know if it's going to be as painful as some people think it's going to be.
Right.
Now, if you're okay with what you had last year, but it's a whole bunch of young players that are going to continue to grow and build and get better, I think that's fine. But if you're some Cardinals fans that act like the world is, imploding right now because, well, because what? You're not going to have underperforming Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado?
Right.
Or underperforming Lance Lynn?
Yeah.
Or Miles Michaelis? Like, what are you hanging on to?
Or exactly. Or some crop of free agents that Mohan picked that aren't that great.
Yeah,
it makes you feel better because he's like they're spending a little bit of money.
Well, look at the money he spent. If I don't have the math, Carey, you might be able to do this because you did caveman math earlier.
Yeah,
but the money you spent on Goldie, Arenado, Miles Michaelis, Steven Matz last year. Eliminate those 4 guys. Were they difference makers?
Nope,
not one bit. Right.
Right.
So, but eliminate that money. I bet you that's $100 million.
Yeah.
You just shaved $100 million off your payroll, and you didn't get worse.
Right.
That's my point.
Yep. I'm with you 100% on that. I think a youth movement can be. I realize that fans want a winner. Okay.
But you haven't had a winner. You
haven't been winning the last 2 years.
No,
yeah.
That's not what they mean when they say they want a winner. They want a winner like championships.
Yeah.
80.
So do I. So do we.
Wins.
But how they've been going about it is not working. So at some point it becomes moot. You just thinking that they need to spend this. Are they? Because that's the only difference. Or that's the question, I should say. That's the question. Will they spend? And they're not going to make a significant dent.
I don't think they need to spend in this moment.
They need to spend wisely.
Now. I don't think they need to spend much of anything. And what could you like? Because you have young people in the outfield. You got 3 or 4 guys that you want to see play every day. Jordan Walker, Michael Ciani, Victor Scott, Lars Newbar, Brendan Donovan. Like, you want to see those guys play every single day. So you don't need anybody in the outfield. You need somebody in the infield. You got Nolan Gorman. You got Alec Burleson. You got Masyn Winn. You got Nolan Arenado, who's in the infield. Wilson Contreras is behind the plate. You got 2 younger catchers there. What area do you, and then pitching, you want to go spend on a middle reliever? Like, right. Because starting pitching, you should be set in that regard as well. So I don't see the need, even in this moment, for them to go spend. But that's the angle that they should be taking. We got all of these younger players. Jordan Walker is the future of St. Louis baseball. That's what I would say. That's our expectation of him. Right. Masyn Winn has already shown you what he can do with a year under his belt. He's a finalist for a Gold Glove. Didn't win it, but next year's his year.
Sure.
Like, that's how you spend. Nolan Gorman, we sent him down to the minors to get right. We expect him to hit 30 to 35 home runs. Hopefully we can limit the strikeouts that he has. That should be, and you know what Brendan Donovan is going to be. He's going to play left field. He's going to play wherever, utility infield. He's going to hit well for average every single day. That's what he does. And we got 2 stars in center field. We got to figure out which one of these guys is going to play every day. Like, everything is here. Yeah. But it's been here. But the notion or the need or the thought process that you needed to go and add more, I probably wouldn't be. I'm not as upset about the Brandon Crawford signing, because you did not know what Masyn Winn was. I was upset because he looked like he came in and was not prepared to play.
What makes you think that?
Just me being around sports my whole life. Did not look like he was prepared to play. That's just my take on it.
Didn't have his glove?
He had his glove. He had his cleats. Had his uniform. Came out there with a hat.
Yeah, big uniform.
Bigger uniform than I'm accustomed to seeing him in. What? He was. That's just what it was. But
we have eyes, Anthony.
We do, and we played, and I've been there.
His glove, his bat, a tire.
And had a tire.
Spare tire.
Not a tire, a tire with him.
He did. Never know when you're going to need that, Carey.
Yeah.
He was prepared.
So, yeah, he was.
But he wasn't.
No.
But then you signed the other pitchers, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, Sonny Gray was a good signing. And I'm not against the signing of Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson. I think they did exactly what they were supposed to do or what they were signed for. But you also halted some of the process of some of these younger guys that you could have been a year closer to where you need to be had you not signed those guys.
Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marshy, Anthony Stalter, and I've got my game notes from NFL Week 9 next on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan, they've got tremendous deals. They've got financing options for everyone, and they give you the 30-day return promise. Within 30 days, if you're not completely satisfied with your vehicle, your purchase, your experience at Auto Centers Nissan, bring the vehicle back. They'll refund your money, set you up with something else that you do like. When it comes to their complimentary lifetime warranty or their complimentary Nissan maintenance plan, Auto Centers Nissan, they're always taking care of you. I say from sale to service, because when it comes to the sale, you'll feel great. It's a fun environment. Over 700 vehicles for you to look at, pre-owned and new Nissans. In fact, it's the largest pre-owned dealership that you're going to find in the greater St. Louis area. You're bound to find the perfect vehicle to match your lifestyle and your budget. But from sale to service, the sale feels great. The financing options are there. Service. I took our Pathfinder in for service last week, and I can't tell you how great it feels just to know that the vehicle's being taken care of. You're not getting ripped off. You know that their service people are fantastic. The experience there, they get you in and out quickly because they know your time is valuable. They do a great job at Auto Centers Nissan. So check them out online at autocentersnissan.com. Peruse their inventory, see their deals, and then when you head down to Herculaneum for some test drives and maybe purchase your vehicle, tell them Stalter sent you.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marshy. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues will take on the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow after defeating the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-2 on Saturday. You can listen to that game coming up tomorrow right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We talked earlier with our Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford. If you missed that interview, just go to 101ESPN.com or check out that free 101 mobile app. It's all there on the podcast page, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Anthony Stalter's Week 9 game notes coming up next, and after the show around 6:30, we'll have the pregame for Monday Night Football. It's the Chiefs and the Bucks. But before we get to that, we have to know what Anthony was thinking in Week 9. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
All right, we heard from the rest of the guys in the show. NFL Week 9 notes. My turn. I'm going to start off with this. The offseason moves, and I would even say slight risk, given especially Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, 30 years old, a lot of miles. Like, we could talk about, that was just a no-brainer move. Clearly it wasn't for every team. But the Ravens signing Derrick Henry and the Eagles signing Saquon Barkley. After all the teeth gnashing about running backs not being paid, those two teams rolled the dice, and they're being rewarded big time. Saquon Barkley has been a significant difference maker. Derrick Henry has been incredible. Hey, did you guys notice that Lamar, too? We talked about this early in the year. I'm like, you got to put Lamar under center. Mm-hmm. Remember after the first game, we're like, something don't look right. Move Lamar under center. You can go fullback, have Derrick Henry in the eye, and that's going to change the look for defenses big time.
Yeah.
They're starting to incorporate that more and more. Todd Monken's done that, where he's got Lamar under center. Man, that offense is scary good.
Lamar only ran the ball 3 times.
That was it,
for
4
yards. I had him in the over. Ooh. Yeah.
How'd that work?
Not great.
I don't think it was 3.5, was it?
It was 46 and a half. But the fact that you can, like you talk about the offseason risk, Derrick Henry has scored double-digit touchdowns in the last 7 years of his career. Like, he continuously, and one of those years, he only played 8 games.
Yeah.
Like, he had 10 touchdowns in 8 games that year, the year he got hurt in 2021. Like, this player, there is some people are just different. And that's probably the only way that I can describe him. If you look at his high school numbers, if you look at his college numbers, if you look at his professional numbers, he runs the ball a lot. Mm-hmm. And he has not gotten worn down just yet. He's pretty amazing. And the Ravens did a great job of adding him because that's what they missed last year in the playoffs. They lost that AFC Championship game because they refused to run the football. That will not be a problem this year.
No, not at all. They're locked and loaded. The Eagles, even though Nick Sirianni clearly wants to tank their season any way he can.
He's trying.
The Eagles have benefited big time from that addition with Saquon Barkley. Sensational game again yesterday. It wasn't just him jumping over backwards over a defender. I mean, he made some great catches too. Not an easy catch on that first touchdown that he made. Yeah, he's a remarkable player. So that's my first takeaway. The offseason risk by the Eagles and the Ravens have definitely paid off. What it takes to win in the NFL remains the same. And I think the Lions continue to show that. If you have a great running game and you play well defensively, even without somebody like Hutchinson, you can win a pivotal road game. The list of Lions quarterbacks that have beaten the Packers 3 times at Lambeau is one. It's Jared Goff. This is a franchise that has obviously been owned by Brett Favre and owned by Aaron Rodgers, maybe not to the extent of the Bears, but Jared Goff and the Lions went into Lambeau, bad conditions, and Jared Goff played very well in the rain, but they got two stud running backs in Montgomery and Gibbs, and they played good defense. That's going to travel anywhere in the NFL. I mean, Carey, you know that with your Steelers days. Can you run the ball? Can you play great defense? If you can, you got the recipe right there to win a Super Bowl. And the Lions have the recipe to win.
They do. They play football the way it's supposed to be played, man.
Yep.
Like I know Marshy says they're dirty.
They don't like it.
But
they are.
If you hit people in the mouth, eventually they stop wanting to play, and I'm okay with that.
I think what's impressive for me is just like how good Jared Goff is at protecting the football. I think we were talking earlier, I can't remember who said it, but about like some of those like chunk plays. It just seems like every time they have the ball, you're like, man, these guys are going to find a way to get a first down.
Yeah.
And I think it's because Jared Goff, if he doesn't have anything, he takes the safe route because he knows that his offensive coordinator is one of the best in the league, and he's going to dial up a play that will ultimately get them a first down within the 4 downs that they have because of that type of team. You don't know. Are they going to go for it on 4th down? You have no idea. It doesn't matter where they are in the field.
Yeah.
You got to be aware of it. And I think because of what Ben Johnson can do with Jared Goff, I think they're just working hand in hand. It's a really good relationship there. And I'm interested to see what happens at the end of the year with Ben Johnson because we know he had opportunities to be a head coach this previous offseason. I wonder if he sticks there or he ends up going somewhere else. But I do believe that this is the year the Lions, this is the best year that they have to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know if it gets any better.
Yeah, with the head coach and the coordinators all staying in place, I see where you're going with that. Man, they're good. All right, my last thing was the division races are going to be sensational to watch in both conferences. The Bills are running away with the AFC East. The Chiefs are running away with the AFC West. And the Texans should win the AFC South. But the AFC North, whether it's the Ravens or the Steelers, those games are coming up. Those are going to be a lot of fun to watch. The AFC East with the Eagles staying right behind the Commanders. The NFC North with, the Vikings, Packers, and Lions all being good. And the AFC West with the Cardinals, Rams. The Cardinals and Seahawks are only separated by 1 game. And the Cardinals are in first place and the Seahawks are in last.
Yeah.
So that division race is going to be fun to watch. And we'll see about the NFC South. We'll see if the Buccaneers can kind of hang around. The Falcons have opened up a pretty good lead, though.
The Falcons are your NFC South division champs.
Don't you dare.
They are.
Don't you dare.
They are.
Now, are they undefeated in the division? Yeah.
They're the champs.
Are they 2-0 against the Bucs? Yeah. They still got a game against the hapless Saints and Panthers? Yeah.
Oh,
don't say they're the NFC South champs yet.
You're all set. There's no way they don't win.
Saints,
don't hang the banner.
Hang the banner.
Like the Predators.
This is a year where I would hate to be a division winner in the top 2. Maybe not obviously the first team gets a bye. But if the 49ers can squeak into the playoffs as a wild card team, good luck being one of those division winners because you just
It'll be the Falcons.
100%
It'll be the Falcons.
100%.
Yeah.
But that is what this NFL season has done. It's given us the idea that the 49ers could be like a 6 or 7 seed.
Yeah.
Based on how things are going. If they get healthy by the end of the year, they could be back in the Super Bowl.
And one of those teams might get left out. Vikings, Eagles, Packers. You can see a Packers team have a good year and miss out on the playoffs because they play in such a tough division. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch all this play out. All right, we've got Bet the Board with Marsh. Talk about already winning the month. That's Andrew Marsh. You get a four-leg parlay. Cash that thing.
You'll win for sure.
We shouldn't even play the rest of the month. But you know what? I think, guys, in the spirit of it, even though Marsh, let's be honest, has got a 99.9% chance of winning, I still think we should play Bet the Board.
Yeah, we might as well.
Might as well, right?
Yep.
We're all fighting for second place.
Pretty much.
That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you're planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future, I know what you are going through. Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty knows that selling and buying your next home at the same time can be tricky, especially in this area here in St. Louis where the market's all over the place. Hey, listen up. If you need to sell and buy at the same time, this is for you. Gloria has several great options for her home sellers, including her Sell and Stay program. That gets you the most money possible for your current home and then allows you to stay put until you find your next home. No more stress, worries, or hassles. Gloria Lou makes selling your St. Louis area home easy, and she's been doing it for more than 21 years. Why risk working with an average realtor when you can go work with the best? The name to remember is Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call Gloria Lou today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Man, we've had a lot of rain today. How's your roof looking? You getting any sort of leaks? Do you know of any damage? Or are you just concerned? Call my friends at the Happy Roof Company. If you call them today or you call them tomorrow, whatever that time frame is, they'll have someone look at your issue within 24 hours. They do residential and commercial roofing. They got superior high-end products. They have a 10-year labor warranty as well. So you know that this isn't a company that just chases storms. They come in and out, and next thing you know, you don't know if the warranty is going to be good because you don't know if the company is going to be there anymore. No, not Happy Roof. Happy Roof Company, 100% of their market is in St. Louis and the surrounding areas. Their headquarters, in fact, is located right in Sunset Hills. They've got cost-effective solutions on flat roofing and metal roofs. They got free estimates with competitive pricing. So again, if you're dealing with all the rain coming in and you got some sleepless nights because you don't know if the roof is going to hold up because maybe you got some damage, call the Happy Roof Company at 314-665-3001. Again, 314-665-3001, or visit them at thehappyroof.com. Tell them Stalter sent you. It's the Happy Roof Company. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or on your Schaefer Door Company 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Time to bet the board. Again, we'll just kind of play for second place here. Andrew Marsh with a commanding lead after hitting the Miami four-leg parlay. First day, he comes out swinging and hits himself a grand slam. Nice job there, Marsh.
Yeah. Thank you. I almost made it 5. I was thinking about having a Restrepo anytime touchdown, which would have hit, but I didn't want to get ahead of myself. So, one, congratulations to him. I believe he broke the Miami receiving record Xavier Restrepo.
Marshy, you got your 4, okay?
All right. Well, here are the
Trying to be
standings.
humble and nice and thank other people for his accomplishments. And
Like to thank God. Like, come on, enough.
Right.
I have 4 points. Anthony, you
God
have
wasn't
1.
available for your parlay. Okay.
Jamie, you have 1 point. Carey, you're at 0.
Oh, wow. Why did he say it like that?
He just giving the scores up.
No, he said a little stank on that.
No, he said it.
Carey, what are you going to do this month about your 1.5?
I'm struggling trying to find.
I mean, right away,
something.
you saw what happened. He was the kiss of death with Lamar Jackson. Over 40-something rushing yards. You got 4. Oh, did he get hurt? No, play the whole game.
No, he's fine.
You're in the first digit, right?
Yeah. Oh,
the only digit.
Marsh.
More stank.
Oh, smokes. All right, Marsh, you're up.
Give me Baker Mayfield, his longest rush of the night to be over 8.5 yards at -130.
Ooh, okay.
It's a pretty random pick, but I like it.
Jamie?
Yeah, New Jersey Devils playing the Edmonton Oilers tonight. New Jersey sitting at -127 on the money line, but I'm going with the Oilers at +113.
I am going to go a little chalky, but I'm going to go with the over 45.5 for the Bucks Chiefs total. I'm going over the Buccaneers. If I can find the stat real quickly here. Combined. Tampa Bay games are averaging 56 combined points. That's the second highest in the league. Combined 56 points.
Playing a lot of defense there, huh?
I only need 46.
Okay. Give me the New York Knicks on the money line, -130 versus the Houston Rockets. Gotta go a little NBA.
Okay. There's Bet the Board. Marsh, do you have criticisms and compliments?
Yes, we do. From the 314, and this is in response to the 5 o'clock hour and the bed music that we played, and you missed it a little bit. It's okay.
I definitely did. Yeah.
It is what it is. From the 314, haha. I noticed the new build-up. LOL. I was waiting for something. Cool song, Marsh. Stalter buckled under pressure.
What? I mean, your timing was off, but I don't feel like you buckled.
I don't think I buckled.
No. I wouldn't go that extreme.
No. But I appreciate
Did you fail? Yes. But did you buckle? No.
I failed.
Didn't buckle. It's a difference.
I failed. I didn't fail miserably,
That's
but
right.
I failed. And I guess that's all that matters. So you know what?
I appreciated your effort.
It's an opportunity for me to get better.
It's a great way of thinking.
Thank you.
Good job.
This next one comes from Bob on the east side. We're going to have to get you guys a sports six-pack sippy cup because you never finish them.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's tough.
That's a criticism for sure.
That actually hurts more than most. Yeah. Even more than when the guy said I failed there.
He didn't say you failed. That was Jamie that said that.
Oh, yeah.
He said you buckled under pressure.
That's what I meant, Jamie.
I think if you buckled, it's worse than failing. Buckled means you just crumbled under pressure.
Yeah, no, I missed.
You didn't even swing the bat.
I missed my shot.
Type thing, right? You swung the bat. It was a horrible pitch, but you swung it.
Learn from the best, Jordan Walker.
What is with
Mr. Walker's awake over here.
Wow.
He's awake over here.
Wow.
All of a sudden, Carey's standing up. Where'd that come from?
Stood up. My back is hurting.
Last one here from the 314. Everyone, drive home safe.
Yeah, big
please
time.
do.
Be careful.
Apparently the roads are awful. It's been raining all day. So
all day.
take a little extra time rather than sitting on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Some troubles.
Go ahead.
I was 3 stars of the day, real quick. 3rd star goes out to Spare Tire.
Yeah.
2nd star goes to having big hands.
Yep.
And the 1st star goes to Carey's ayahuasca.
Yes.
Absolutely. If I could throw in a star, my little guy Lincoln turns 3 today. Happy birthday to Lincoln. We're trying to
at the Stalter.
Yeah, let's do it. Trying to potty train him right now, and he's like,
drink beer.
He's like, I ain't doing it.
Yeah. No, I'm not
thanks.
interested.
Yeah.
Why? You sit there and just wipe his butt for him and stuff.
I know, right? We do everything
Why
for
did
him.
we
He's
ever
good.
stop that?
Exactly. Yeah. So happy birthday, buddy.
Maybe we should go back to
For Andrew Marsh, for Jamie Rivers, for Carey Davis. You can, buddy. I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.